How's it going, everybody? I'm Kyle from Fantasy Forge Studios, and we are back with session 59 of the Everlast role-playing game, The Adventures of Eclaas. We are joined by three of our players today. Unfortunately, Cole, he has work super-duper early in the morning, and so he's unable to join us. But we are joined by Max, Connor, and Dane today. And, yeah, we're picking up right where we left off, right in the middle of combat from our last session against the two pirate ships. Let's go ahead and have our players introduce themselves, and then we'll go into a little bit of recap before diving into the action, starting with Zil.
I am Max. I play Zil, the orphan of Helix, the future refining prospector, the blacksmith extraordinaire, the teapot of madness, and Waffle House, his pet mouse. He is a slightly naive orphan who just wants to protect and, do the best he can. He also is the party tank. So he likes, he doesn't like, but he takes hits real good, which is serving him very well because he is surrounded on a pirate ship.
Somehow alive.
Oh, he's fine.
All of these swords are just chinking off of his armor as everyone's trying to hit you. Some people have gotten their daggers into you, but not too much. You've been doing pretty good. Was that Zil for us? Is that what he does?
That's Zil.
He's got a new cool axe. He can swim underwater and breathe underwater. Maybe everybody can swim, but he can breathe underwater at least up to like 60 feet or something. And he used that to actually some decent degrees in last session as he was sneaking up from behind as Luxalia and Yuki were kind of putting on a front. So yeah, it's interesting. But our next player is usually played by Cole, but Luxalia. So Luxalia will be controlled by Max today. But she is a Goliath from the Silverwood. She is a Shrine Maiden, and she's a healer. Currently, right now, she's kind of serving as like a pseudo-pacifist role, I guess. But she is doing what she can to be able to lead people to Alamia. She's got a past that she tried to convince the pirates. She did a pretty good job, actually, to change their ways. But perhaps it wasn't strong enough to get out of the influence of Jackman Knobs. But yeah, she's pretty cool. She's a Manasworn Lightsworn adventurer, and she has a lot of healing and elemental damage that she can put out. So that's solid. How about you, Dane?
Yeah, my name is Dane, or Forged here at Fantasy Forge Studios. I play the character Mistletoe Yuki. She's a silver dragon from the far north reaches of a city called Flabongolith, and she is a bard character. So one thing that's very interesting about bard characters in this game is they aren't just supports. You can make a supporty bard, but the specific kind of bard that I am is a blade dancing bard. So it's one of the DPS classes. So she dual wields broadswords, and her alongside Belbin are the main damage dealers of the party. And so she uses her broadswords to slice the competition, as well as her music to support and help herself and her allies. So it's pretty cool.
Which brings us to Belbin.
Yes. Hey guys, I'm Connor and I play Belbin. Belbin is also a Goliath like Luxalia. From a different planet though, basically. She's turned her life around and Belbin hasn't. He is a martial artist and oblate, so he likes using his fists. He doesn't like wearing his shirt. Recently, he is obsessed with his new sword, the Gladys that he got from Thoradane, and it's also obsessed with him. So there's some struggles going on there. But yeah, he is a dynamic character to say the least. There's depends on the day, what he's feeling like doing and who he's going to listen to. And yeah, so an out of control man. Fox man. An out of control old fox man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always interesting to see like what antics Belbin's gonna get up to, and I like how you put in there. Belbin's obsessed with the sword, and the sword is obsessed with him. Too. I mean, Calvinish can't do much without a conduit to be able to do her will through. So yeah, you could say she's probably a little bit obsessed, but it's too funny. And then our last character is Thordane. So he is the captain of Alamia's Breath. He, two-time WrestleMania extraordinaire, just got dethroned by a robot, essentially, Kokoro, a couple sessions ago. But yeah, he's swallowed his pride with the rum of ages and is doing what he can to guide at least the party through the open waters, particularly with the help of Balthazar, who is his first mate, but also kind of an ex-sailor in his younger years. But Thordane, he is a ranger, but additionally he is a tracker class, and so what he is primarily known for is navigation and finding his way through the wild. He also attacks with his bow as his primary weapon, so he's kind of like a ranged attacker, plus he has the ability to do some pretty decent heals as well. Yeah, he's got all kinds of hunting traps and stuff that he can use, and we'll see what he does in battle. Currently he's equipped on a swivel arbalest, so if he wants to use that might be definitely maybe more worth it than actually using his bow, but we'll see. But that's Thordane. He's pretty cool. He's a man of science. Can't forget that. He loves to find out new things about the world and write them down, I guess. And yeah, gain experience. His goal, I kind of thought about it this way. His goal is to kind of be like Horatius by the end of his life, where he's like all-knowing and has experienced everything that the world has to offer. So he probably looks at Horatius and is like, oh yes, this guy. That's goals right there. But I am Kyle. I am the Fate Weaver and also the creator of the world of Everlast. And so before we jump in real quick, just to let you know, Fantasy Forge Studios and Kyle LaFonte own all copyrights in the text, images, video, audio, graphics, story, gameplay, mechanics, and all intellectual properties involved in the creation of Everlast. Don't take it and sell it for your own stuff, but feel free to use it for your own homebrew. That's what this world is meant for, and eventually when the Tabletop RPG does come out, you can have it yourself to be able to play with you alone or with your friends or however you want to play your tabletop RPG games. But yeah, without further ado, I guess we can go into a little bit of some backstory. Does anyone have anything else to add before we do a recap? Or are we good?
We're good.
Sweet.
We're good. Yeah.
Well, with that being the case, Eclaas Eeas is an adventuring party, and they are out searching the world for demons and destroying them. But more recently, they are one of the 4 key holders of the elemental pillars, the earth pillar, which they are the keepers of that key. The keeper of the flame key is King Nalgora Cragheim of Flomberge. The keeper of the sea key is King Farron of Feshenfay. And the keeper of the sky key, the electric key, is going to be Aldreg Monteblair, who's actually on board their ship right now. They have gone on an adventure to gather all of these individuals to have the meeting of the keys to discuss what to do next. And this meeting hasn't happened, at least in this age. And it's only supposed to be done in dire needs of import. And on their adventures, tracking down the last 2 individuals, King Farron and Aldreg Monteblair, they've discovered a lot of demonic stuff at work, whether it's uncovering demonic possessions or the secrets behind the great sea beast, Azaeldum, and figuring out about like undead pirates, also about Jackman Nobbs, and he may or may not be possessed by a demon as well. Yeah, pirates are running rampant on the high seas, and so they are with Aldreg Monteblair making their way back to Flomberge in order to start this meeting of the keys. That is until they came across pirates that were outside of Aishan Island, where Flomberge is the city of the Draken. And they did their darndest to try to have a conversation with the pirates on board to make them turn over a new leaf, to maybe varying degrees of success. One thing led to another, and they started combat with these pirates, which led both Yuki and Luxalia to fly back to the ship, and Zil literally to take on one of the ships all by himself, at least until Alamnia's breath could come and start sinking the pirate ship that is there. So currently so I guess I can point things out. On this ship here, it is kind of more of like a freighter ship. This all of the masts are taken out. So Finn got a critical hit and destroyed the masts of this ship. So it can no longer move. And this one had a Glyphex cannon blown into it and 2 ballista bolts, meaning it is sinking. I think actually, was it Belbin who got the crit too on the whole of the ship? I think Belbin also got a crit with his ballista on the ship too. And so, this ship is currently in the process of sinking. But right now, Zil has in basically like a tight grip the captain of their ship, who goes by the name of Captain Sullivan. And he is currently trying to make way for something to happen. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But right now, you guys are in the middle of combat. Basically, pirates are shooting at you with their bows. They're going to be starting to fire ballista bolts at Alamnia's breath coming up here. And yeah, battle is really, really intense at the moment. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and turn it over to you guys. So it is the top of the combat round. And at the end of last session, we just recently rolled for priority initiative. And the initiative order as it is starts off with Belbin at a 23.
Great. Okay, Belbin, for his movement, he's going to want to take a step this way before he tries to do what he's about to do. He wants to try to run if he needs to, but just jump onto the other ship.
Okay, so if you run at least 10 feet, you will get hope on this check. But if you do it just normal, you don't get any despair or anything. It's just going to be a straight shoot. So if you go back, like 10 feet and make a running leap, I'm going to have you make a physical skill check. So this is a 15-foot jump, and you are kind of jumping upwards, as it were, because the decks themselves aren't quite even. This is a much taller ship, and so you're kind of jumping 15 feet plus like 5 feet up, and so you are really needing to get some air in order to do this. And so, I'm going to have you make a physical skill check for me.
Okay, that's a 19.
19. As you run, you launch yourself off the side railings of your ship, giving yourself just enough leverage to land right here, with a pirate right in front of you. You still have the rest of your movement / stuff that you can do for the combat.
Yeah.
phase. So you have 55 feet of movement or 60 feet of movement?
60.
So this is double movement when you are jumping, and so that's going to be 30 feet plus the 10, so that's 40 feet, and so you still have 20 feet.
Okay, and where is Zil specifically? Is he? That's not Zil. Where? This? Sorry, I missed it. Okay. Gosh, Zil, you got yourself into a pickle. I've got 20 feet left, so I could 1, 2.
Yep.
So I will note, so this is something that is good to remember as far as control zones. So control zones are still a thing. If you go within 5 feet of a creature, you can move around them, but you have to basically initiate a combat challenge against creatures that you're within 5 feet
Okay.
And so you can still like move around them, but you would have to use the disengage support action in order to break that 5-foot radius from them. Which
Okay.
is why
And-
Zill's kind of a little bit trapped as he is right now. Although I guess everybody.
And I can engage more than one
Yeah,
person in
absolutely.
combat?
As long as you're touching them. So you could like swing around to here. You could attack these two. You could swing around here, initiate combat challenge against them. Yeah,
Right,
guess
I think-
that's it. Technically, Zill is holding the captain, so you can actually initiate a combat challenge against the captain that Zill's holding.
Just beat him up. No, I think Belm's gonna try to disengage from this guy. Well, I'll move right here. Try to disengage from this guy and see how that goes.
Okay.
For it.
Yeah, that's just
Whatever.
Make an agility skill, or I guess that's an automatic. So you automatically disengage as your support action.
Okay.
for that.
And then I'll move right here and engage this pirate and this pirate. And it doesn't hurt to engage the captain, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, you're within there. He's not a threat right now because technically he's being restrained by Zill. So
Mhm.
if he does try to make any attacks against you, it's going to be with despair. But I think he's a little bit more preoccupied with trying to get out of Zill's grasp right now.
Right.
But yeah,
So yeah, I'll initiate combat with all three of them then.
which brings us to Thordane. What is he doing on his turn?
Yeah, Thordane's going to be pretty cool. He's realizing that ballistas are sweet, but his skills are better used with his bow in his hand. So he's actually going to call out to, who's this, Bree? Right here? Right here? Not Bree. He's going to call out to Bree, Bree, man the ballista! I've got this! And he's going to take a step this way, give himself a bit more clear shot, and he's going to shoot a binding arrow at the first cap, or the first mate.
Okay. His
Or
vision-
he can't right now, I guess, right now, but...
technically.
Oh, yeah, he's dead. Could he see her?
So this is going to be, because this is one story up, and so you can see flush onto this side. This is going to be 5 feet
Side,
up.
okay.
Probably, I would say if you made the shot, it would be at despair. You
Okay.
might be able to see the tip of her head. Peeking out.
Quick question, where are the ballistas on the ship located?
There's a ballista right here. There is, so basically wherever
They
the
did get
pointing.
blown up?
Technically, there's a big hole in the ship. Yeah, like right here. In the
Oh, okay.
But here, here,
Okay.
here, and here on this side. So there's 4 ballistas.
Oof.
potentially.
Could he hit the ballista, the dude at the ballista?
Well, as you had
if
noted,
you-
there's really nobody in this portion of the ship right now. As you look inside, you see that there's a hole in
Any of these?
yeah, you can
down
probably
here?
see inside this hole and maybe this hole. It'd be different.
So like you said, the attacks will be during that specific phase.
Yes, the
but
attack phase.
So he is going to use. What was it? It was like battle stance or something that I was looking at. So enter or change your battle stance to melee or ranged. I'm gonna use that. That's gonna cost 1 stamina for him, and then I'll enter him into. This character remains in a battle stance until it's changed by using a support action. So for range, your ranged weapon attack hit rolls gain an additional +2 when the target is at least 30 feet away, which it is, right?
Yep.
Perfect. He's gonna do that, so he gets an extra +2 to hit with his shot when that comes.
Perfect.
Yep.
So going into his archer stance, he readies himself to make shots against ballista wielders, which brings us down to the first mates. And so they're going to go ahead, seeing that Belbin has landed. She's going to make her way forward 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, make her way into Zill, and rotate herself around her, initiating a combat challenge with both Zill and Belbin. And that's going to be her turn. This one here is, she's currently sailing, but she's like, prepare the ropes! Prepare to board! as she calls out to the rest of her crew. And with that, I am going to go ahead and move down to the Reavers. And so these guys, I initiate combat challenge here, and then there is there's no Reavers on the okay. And then that means he's going to start making his way 5 to 25, and he is going to go ahead and make a agility survival check in order to attempt to board.
By the way, Kyle, Britt said that on stream your mic is pretty quiet, so if you could in OBS turn it up slightly.
It's maximum in OBS.
We can hear you fine. Oh, is it? We can hear you fine.
Hello.
Okay.
Maybe that should be better. Thanks, Britt.
You're definitely louder to us.
I'm literally just like caressing this with my mouth. I can actually turn off all my focus right. Hello. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely louder. Okay. All right, cool. And then with that being the case, he is gonna, like I said, he's gonna make a agility survival check. He got a nat 16, and so that means he's going to basically get his grapple hook tied to the mast, and this turn he'll be able to swing himself over. He's only able to get himself this far, as that is the rest of his movement that he has. But the Reaver is there, and is making his way over currently, which brings us to the Arbalesters, which are the archers. So we got 1, 2, 3 that are all up in their respective crow's nests, and they're going to start making shots. They're not going to shoot down into the combat. They're going to try to fire against people that are here. Currently, targets are... I guess these two are going to make shots against Sariel, because they're probably most even kind of with each other. So the
Can't
first...
remember. Does Sariel still have her bubble on her?
I believe so. Yeah, she hasn't been attacked yet, I don't think.
Okay.
So, yeah, she still has her light attack. So this first guy is going to go ahead and shoot for a 14, which will hit, but it does hit the bubble. And so what is that? A faith survival check?
It's
Could be a 13.
Piety?
I think it's a faith survival check. I don't have Luxaliation.
Sorry, what are we looking at?
Luxalia, the bubble. What kind of check is it for the popped bubble?
I think it's good just to have everybody's characters pulled up here. So we can
Yeah.
take a look.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so that's going to be a Protector of Light. So currently, pretty much everybody except for like Aldreg that was here, which technically means Belbin has it still.
It's just for one combat round now.
Oh, yeah, okay, so it doesn't affect it anymore. But each target reduces all damage to them by -5, and then if an enemy creature damages an allied creature, it takes damage equal to this character's fate modifier. So there is no check. They just basically reduce damage by 5, and then they receive damage equal to the fate modifier. So cool. Yeah, so I guess they're gonna just start taking shots at Sariel. It does hit the first shot, and so that's gonna be for a total of 4 points of damage. Sariel, I think, has the second least HP. She has 20 HP total, so this is the first damage done to her. She's down to 16. Second guy is going to go ahead and take... Oh, no. It's not the attack phase yet. They're readying their shots. Sorry.
That one hit on the attack phase. We'll just keep in mind.
We'll just keep it that way. But they're going to all ready themselves for that. Which brings us down to Luxalia.
Stuff. She's pretty cool.
Salia is going to. Who just got hit?
Sariel technically hasn't
Sariel.
gotten hit yet. During the attack phase, she's getting hit.
Finn's
been
taking
foreshadowed.
Some damage, though. Yeah.
Sorry,
Finn's
I
taking
was
some
looking
damage
at
and
something
Aldrich is
else.
taking some
My computer is being annoying at the moment, so trying to sort it out, and I'm not making progress. She doesn't want to attack, though.
She doesn't want to attack. There is a Reaver right there. If she wants to do anything that like maybe doesn't cause damage to it, if she has the ability to do so.
I know. There's what is this? Ah.
By the way, this bosun didn't jump over. He used a grappling hook. That's why it was an agility survival check.
Okay,
So,
great. She is just going to. She is going to cast Protector of Light. That is what she's going to do.
so
Sorry, that took me so long to
everybody except
decide.
for Aldrich Monteblair gets Protector of Light. If Luxalia does want to move here, then she will get Aldrich Monteblair.
She will do that.
So everybody on board Alamnia's Breath gets the Protector of Light. Cool.
I apologize if I'm running behind tonight. My computer is frustratingly slow at the
It's okay.
moment, so
It happens. Can
I'm
you hear us real
frazzled,
time
that's
still?
why.
Are we good?
yes,
Okay, cool. That's what's important.
mostly,
So, no,
mostly.
no worries. Which brings us to Yuki. What is Yuki doing?
Yeah, so Yuki seeing the Reaver jump across is just like, ah, heck no. She looks across and calls out to Belbin and Zil and says, it looks like they're boarding. Do you need help, or would you like me to protect the ship?
Protect the ship.
Okay.
Except for Sorrow.
I'll be
You can-
fine.
Okay. Yuki's just like, okay, suit yourself. So she's gonna use a support action to load the ballista.
Okay.
Can she do that?
Yeah, she can.
So she'll do that before she moves, and then she'll go 5, 10, 15. As she's moving past Bree, she'll be like, Bree, get on the ballista instead of there. Don't run past the scary dude. And she'll go like this, and engage him in combat. And that is what she'll do.
Does she have? Do you want to do any of like your blade dances, anything like that?
Unfortunately, I think those are attack actions now. I don't
Okay.
think they are actually. Yeah, they're attack actions, so they're not support actions anymore.
Perfect.
And I used my one support action to load the ballista. So
Got it. All right, cool. And then that is going to be the end of your movement phase, which brings us to the bosuns. And so the bosuns are thick. He is going to do the same. 5, 10. And yeah, he's going to go ahead and use his grappling hook too. 10, which does get him over. And so he does land over, and which automatically initiates combat between Yuki and Bree.
You can just try to shove him overboard.
Can.
I know
if
that's
you want,
what,
if you want to do
what
so.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, they're literally like right
That's
on the
so
edge
funny.
there. And we got some other bosuns, which are here. Is that just the one? I think there's just the one bosun. Yeah. Okay. So that's what he's gonna do, and then that brings us down to our pirates. And so, hearing that, the pirates are going to attempt to do the same. So this guy is gonna make a check. He gets a 16 non-natural, so he jumps over right here. He's technically right here, and then he's going to move 5 feet to initiate combat with both Thordane and Balthazar. These guys are going to start piling in here. 5, 10. Five feet here. This guy's going to wrap around to here, initiate combat. This guy's currently sailing, so he can't do anything. And then this guy, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He's not close enough to use his rope, his grappling hook. And then these guys are all going to try to prepare to board. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, he's going to use his grappling hook. For nat 1, he actually falls into the water.
Poor guy.
Got too excited.
So he's gonna have to swim if he wants to. He does catch a little bit as he begins to swing. Barnacle Bill takes his knife and whoosha, or takes the arbalaster and shoots him out of the air as he just falls down. And then this guy's gonna move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and attempt to do the same. Which he has a 7, which isn't going to quite do it, meaning he also kerplunks into the water.
Oh my god.
All right, these guys are going to start doing their thing, so we're going to start trying to board from both sides at this point. So this guy is going to move 5 feet, attempt to do it, and he got a 9, which does get him over. And then he's going to 5 move into Buffalo Bill, Barnacle Bill. This guy here, he's going to go ahead and attempt to prepare to board as well. And that's a 2, so or like natural 2, but he's going to kerplunk into the water. Move 5, 10. This is not good.
Pirates suck. These pirates.
He got a nat 15, and
life.
so he's going to make his way over and initiate combat between Kokoro and Finn, which distracts Finn from using the ballista. And this guy here, 5, 10, 15. He's going to attempt to do 1. He got another natural 2. The pirates are all kerplunking into the water. 10, he's going to attempt. This guy makes it. And he is going to wrap around, engage Luxalia, Sariel, and the Bree. Oh, not Sariel. Sariel's up in the
Lyra.
I think that's everybody that can move right now. Because this guy's currently sailing. Yeah, that's a lot of movement. Oh, and where are we?
Oh yeah. Ah, I forgot.
I mean, they don't have an infinite supply of people, but 2 new pirates show up. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move into the Zill's turn. So Zill, you are currently surrounded by lots of dudes.
How many people are engaging me?
Actually, this guy was going to go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people technically right now. And then you've got
Do I
Belbin.
have
You're
to
basically like
disengage?
fighting back to back with like Belbin on one side and you on the other.
Do I have to disengage from each one of them separately?
Technically, yes. That's kind of
No.
the downside of.
Are you gonna leave me here with all these pirates? I came here to help you out.
Help you. I don't think he can. Is the thing. 'Cause the
maybe.
thing is to use his.
Technically, right now, I don't
Zill?
think Zill can even disengage at all at the moment. And the reason I say that is because you're surrounded. There's nowhere to disengage to.
Oh my goodness. What am I gonna
They're just
do?
swarming up on the deck. Everyone's trying to get a piece of Zill.
Okay, I want everyone in the audience right now to take a screenshot in your mind of what we look like right now, and then take a screenshot of what it's going to look like during the next turn. I'm going to say.
See what happens when Eclaas just starts unleashing attacks. Dead pirate, thrown overboard.
I don't know if there's anything I can even do.
Okay.
So I guess we're just chilling.
All right,
I can't use my support actions.
You can't attack. Your attacks, because you are grappling, will be at despair, but you can still use attack actions if you want to.
Oh, by the way, Britt left a inspiration if anyone needs it. So
I need
Feel
it
free.
for my initiative so I can get out of here.
all right, there we go. Next turn.
That's the one nice thing about Everlast is you're not stuck at your 5 with that. And then that brings us, though, to the crew. Aldrich, he calls over to Kokoro and is like, Kokoro, join me down below deck when you have the chance, as he begins to just flee. 5, 10, 15, 20. Down below deck.
This thing's Kokoro's the wrestling champion of the world, though.
I
She's
know.
going-
She's going to throw him overboard.
Yeah, she's just going to like, grab him by the face and just like crush it in and just like throw him over. Other crew, we are preparing shots with Sariel. Lyra's got initiated. She's gonna actually disengage. So she's going to disengage here. 5, 10, 15. Here. Bree is definitely in combat, so she's not going anywhere. And then Balthazar is currently sailing the ship, so that's what he's doing. Markle Bill's engaged here. Yeah, I think that's everything from everyone. Okay. Which brings us to, I think, the end of the combat round. Or not combat round, the intent to movement phase, which means we're going to the attack phase, starting off with Belvin.
Get him.
So, remind me what the difference is between prone and stunned.
So stunned, essentially, they get it's pretty much the same thing. It's basically the same thing.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there is a difference. Stunned makes it so you can't move at all. Prone, you can use a support action to get up from prone, or at the end of the combat round, you get up. Maybe that's the
With
difference.
both-
Just like stunned, you're just stunned. You can't move.
With both, can you attack still?
You can, but it's gonna be with despair for both.
Okay. Okay. Well, knowing that, I want to start by doing a stunning blow against this little lady right there.
Okay, first meet.
Yeah, the first.
She's pretty
mate.
weak, isn't it? Or she's pretty damaged at this point, isn't she?
Oh, is she? She
No,
did take one hit. Before.
Yeah, by Yuki.
So it's a D16 plus my strength. So let me roll with that first. Ooh, this is gonna hit. What is my strength?
So it's strength modifier.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's gonna hit.
Yeah, it'll be a 20.
That definitely hits.
Yeah. Okay, so then that deals +2 damage and inflicts the stun status ailment on the target until the end of the next combat round. Any creature stunned cannot be stunned in this way until the end of combat. Okay, so now is that my attack or
Yeah,
do
so
I
you basically
still...
you just roll attack damage because it's part. So you just roll a normal attack +2 and then the stunned stats.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Again, this is new
So-
combat for everybody that doesn't know. So the way that these skills work is it utilizes stamina as opposed to normal weapon attacks, and then their attacks, basically their skills utilize like their actual weapon attacks, but with additional effects because of stamina. So, yep, go ahead and roll for damage as total, and then stunned.
Okay. It'll be 6 damage I guess 8 damage because the +2 of impact. No,
Okay.
sorry, 18 damage of impact. And then 6 of darkness.
Jeez. 24 damage.
That was one attack.
Take it.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Yeah, you just go and you like wind up and you like punch her right in the sternum and it just stuns her. So is it for how many combat rounds is she stunned for?
Till the end of the next one.
Okay, cool. And so you, and then she basically like kind of almost like gets a little bit dazed, knocking the breath out of her as you just like hear it like crack, like, yeah, bones have definitely been broken with this punch.
Okay. And then for my next attack, I will go for this guy right here. I'll try to hit him.
Normal attack.
And I'm just gonna, no, I'm just gonna be trying everything out, man. Let's go for. Let me ask you this too: blistering straight. If I combo that with a leg sweep, is that 2 attacks or is that 1?
So you have to use blistering straight first and then the leg sweep. I think that's how that combo works.
Okay. So that would be essentially like 2 attack actions.
Yeah, they're
to
2 separate attack actions.
Both of those. Okay.
You do on the combo. You always have to do the first one. So I was stunning blow. Yeah. So blistering straight. Yeah, you would have to use that first, and then that
I'll be right
combos
back.
into the leg sweep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. So
You can't combo it, however, if you do miss your first attack. And so
Right.
if you miss it, then you basically are just resorted to another attack action or another that isn't a secondary combo.
Okay. So yeah, I'll try blistering straight first. And
Okay.
so d16 plus.
Against which guy? This guy down here or this guy
Um,
here? Right.
It'll be
Where is
this
it?
guy right here.
Okay.
That guy right there. So let's see. Ooh, that'll hit again, probably 20.
Yep.
Okay.
Or pirates.
I know. They are the pirates who don't do anything. So deals +5 damage and activates rising power. Okay, so I'll just hit him for a normal attack.
Mhm.
Again, +5 damage. Golly. These guys are getting wrecked.
It also,
The-
I think blistering straight also activates a trait, doesn't it?
Yes, it activates rising power, which gives me +2 to my hits from till the end of combat. So then this will be 22 damage of impact and 3 of darkness. To that
As you do so, you basically like you turn around, you punch the first mate. You look over to your left as this guy is running down the stairs with his sword held high, and you wind up again, and you punch him right in the stomach, and you actually see blood begin to seep over your hand as you punch a hole right in his stomach. He falls down dead.
All right. Well,
With
forget
one
about that
attack.
leg sweep.
Well, you can combo it because you're still in a combat challenge. You can combo it. It doesn't have to be targeted at the same person, but
Okay.
so
But
if you
I
wanted
just
to leg
wanted to.
sweep.
No, I just wanted to try this just to see. I want to try to just shove this guy over the edge.
Okay.
Just to see what happens.
Make a physical
So-
skill check, and that is going to be against a agility survival check. It was an 18.
Let me double check this. I think it's another 20. Yeah, it's another 20.
He is prepared. He's seeing this, and he's gritting
oh my
his teeth as Belbin, you turn around and you take your elbow, and you just, without like telegraphing anything, you just boom right in the chin, and he falls backwards off of the boat. And you hear a splash. You have shoved him off the boat.
Great.
All right, it is Thordane's turn.
Yeah. Thordane, seeing that there's a dude now, is
He can still make
going
his
to
still make
say-
his shot. He doesn't have to do it against this guy with his weapon attack as long as he still has like aim. But
Yeah, the artist. I mean, does he still have aim at an arbalist down there?
yeah, I mean, there's no one blocking because you're 5 feet above. I guess they're technically
Yeah,
this
5 feet
guy
above.
a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it would really affect this guy.
And-
Definitely, like, this guy it would affect, because you're shooting through, like, all of this combat. So, this guy you could make a normal shot at, or you can just do a despair shot at this guy.
Nah, he's gonna go for this guy right here. Like his initial plan, he's gonna be like, oh, he's surprised by the guy coming at him, but he's just gonna make a normal shot with +2 to his attack. What's that for his bow? Okay. That's hitting. So, quick question. Hold up. I gotta double check that. So for the +2, so gain an additional +2 when the target is at least 50 feet away. Is that added to the roll, or is that added
50
to
feet
the
or 30
modifier?
feet?
30 feet. 30 feet.
Yeah, it's a +2 modifier. So any like
Okay,
+2s are going to
modifier.
be the modifiers.
Okay, I don't think he needs it anyways. It's a 15 +7 +2,
definitely
so
hits.
yeah.
Thordain's taking
I
a
was just
shot
wondering.
at the guy arming
Yeah.
the ballista down there.
Okay, so the binding arrow does an additional 3 damage and inflicts the bound status ailment on the target, but I gotta roll damage really quick. So he's bound now, so I don't know if that means he can't shoot.
Yeah, he
This
won't be able to
turn,
make
if he
attacks.
decides
Basically, he has to make a. Technically needs to make a physical skill check in order to break out, but yeah.
Oh, sick. That's max damage, so it's 12 plus 5. Oh my gosh, why is it that much? That's crazy. It's a d12 plus 5, so that's, what is that? 17 cutting damage plus 3 bound damage, whatever that means.
So that's
20 something.
21
Or-
or 20.
20 points. 20 points.
Yeah, you do
Cutting
so, and
damage.
you shoot basically this arrow that kind of has like it's interesting. It's like an arrow that has kind of like a little like grappling claw / string attached to it, and you shoot it and it hits him directly in the chest, and the rope wraps around and like binds him like this, as it basically like hooks into his flesh, as he is struggling at this point. It does a ton of damage. He begins to start bleeding out, but he's trying to fight for his life as he's definitely bound. Okay, cool. Does Thordain have anything else he can do?
Unfortunately, he's only got the 1 attack. He's gonna
Really?
mock this guy next to him. Yeah, he's a support, so he's only got the 1. He's gonna mock the guy next to him and says, "That's going to be you soon, buddy, old pal." As he looks.
And with that, we move down into the first mate. So she has 2 attacks that she is going to use against.
And she can't. Oh, yeah.
At disadvantage,
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So she's going to use 1 at Zill and 1 at Belvin. So the first one at Zill, 10 is not going to hit. And then she's going to make an attack at Belvin for 18 to hit.
That'll hit.
How? Oh my gosh.
For
That's
a
crazy.
total of 12 points of cutting damage.
Curse you, lady.
This first mate, she's technically driving a boat, which there's probably no reason for her to do that anymore because the boat's not moving. So she's not doing anything. Which goes to the Reavers. And so we got 1 Reaver in combat, it looks like. He's going to go ahead and make... He has 3 attacks that he's going to go ahead and use at Zill. So the first attack is not going to hit. Second attack,
Great.
15 to hit.
Nope.
And then third attack, 18 to hit.
18 just hits.
Okay. And that's gonna be for a total of 15 points of cutting
Ow!
damage. Okay,
So
that's only a
rude.
Reaver, and then the Arbalesters. Okay, so everyone's gonna start making their shots. So this guy already hit Sariel for 1. This guy's
Reduce it by 5 though. Reduce it by 5 because she got a bubble on her.
also true.
Yeah.
She does.
And
Did
then
I
that
have a
guy
bubble
takes
on me?
damage.
She doesn't take any
Not
damage.
this turn. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe you do. Hold on. No, you don't. Eldon.
Okay.
Yeah, so she actually doesn't take any damage from that, and then the guy needs to takes damage equal the Arbalester takes damage equal to the Faith modifier.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's
So
Luxalia's Faith modifier right now?
I would assume 8. I'm updating my HP.
Well, if that's the case, it does slay the guy. And so he makes a shot into Sariel, and what originally looks like a hit ends up kind of hitting more of like a light shield, and there's like crackling, and it breaks, and then the shield kind of shatters, and then begins to pelt the guy, and he dies.
Well, so much for Luxalia being a pacifist.
True.
She just protected her friend.
That's true. This guy,
It's
and it's her faith that killed. Alamnia smote. Okay, this Arbalester is going to make a shot at Sariel too. And for a nat 16 max damage.
Oh!
She's done.
13 points of...
Oh my gosh! Oh!
So she went from 20 to 7 hit points. This guy here is probably going to try to make a shot. Into Belden. And that is going to be probably not enough. A 9?
Yeah, that won't be enough. That would still be DV, right? Not RV.
Yeah, DV.
RVs will
Yeah,
be-
none of these are
Yeah, no.
elemental attacks.
Yeah, you missed me.
Okay, so missed. Then these 3. So this guy's gonna make a shot into Barnacle Bill. Definitely hits at a natural 14. For
Shield attack.
That's true. Shield. So -5 to this.
I think I'll be really upset if they kill Barnacle Bill.
That's gonna be 3 points of damage to Barnacle Bill, and that guy takes 8 to himself. So Barnacle Bill's down to 15 remaining hit points, and this Arbalester is on boat number 2. Yeah, these Arbalesters have actually gotten hit pretty hard. And he takes.
Well, yeah, they
8 points.
fell from aloft. They just got wrecked. They got yeeted from the mast.
That's true. This guy here is going to make a shot at Luxalia. I'm gonna shoot Luxalia. And that is going to be a nat 16 for maximum damage at 13 points of cutting.
-5.
-5. Does it affect her? I think it's all allies. I don't think it affects herself.
I wouldn't know.
I'm looking. So all allies in range, and so it's not herself, because there are things that are like user plus all allies in range. There are some things that are like I made sure to specifically state that, so it just says all allies in range. So it does hit, or doesn't it?
It was max damage, 13.
Against
13 damage.
yeah, 13
Luxalia.
damage. Yep, to Luxalia. And then this last guy, I guess, is going to take a shot at Kokoro. Kokoro is affected by the light. And that's going to be 17 to hit, which does hit. Doing a total of maximum damage -5, which is going to be 8 points of cutting damage, and that is going to be 8 points to him. Kokoro's got a lot of hit points though, so she's chilling. Well, not a ton of hit points, but a decent amount. Cool. And then this Arbalester takes 8 points. Oh man, all the Arbalesters. Whew, and that's all of them. Which brings us to Luxalia. She's currently in combat. If she wants to make an attack, she can make an attack. Oop, can't hear you, Max.
Oh, I can't hear you if you're talking.
I hear background. I don't hear you. I hear something.
Okay, yeah, we got that.
Hello.
There we go. That's good.
Okay.
That's super weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but how exactly do her staffs work?
So she can use them as a physical melee attack, which would use her physical modifier to hit, to boop, and then she could also use them as magic attacks as well, which just changes the element to whatever the staff is. So that can be used, I think, up to 30 feet. She could target someone with that, but she can also use it melee for impact damage.
Does that change the damage?
So yeah, so she uses the elemental version of it. It is whatever the staff is. So if it's like a flame staff, it'll do flame damage. Is
it still like the 1d10 for one-handed?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And does that change the
It just
what's added to it?
whichever stat is different. And so if she's physically booping, that's going to use her physical. If she's doing the other, it's going to be her elemental to hit.
Okay.
That makes sense.
She is going to use her flame staff. Does it have like charges, or is it just like you can just kind of?
It does have charges, so it has basically a number of charges equal to her mana score, but it doesn't draw from her mana. So whatever her mana points are, then she has that many charges that she can use of it. But it doesn't count like in like the way that her arts use them. If that makes sense.
Okay.
It's like a archer that has like arrows.
Yeah.
It doesn't use the stamina.
I'm
but it
gonna-
uses the arrow.
Okay, I'm gonna use her flame staff
Okay.
towards the closest pirate to Sario.
This guy. Perfect.
And what is
So it's gonna be
modifier?
elemental to hit, plus whatever.
7.
7. A 7 does not hit. It just misses, actually.
Ah,
Just misses.
dang it. Okay, that's what she's doing.
Okay. Yuki.
Yeah, Yuki seeing these two dudes just chilling.
Oh, this guy's a
on the-
reaver too. He should have made attacks.
Well, he sucks. He was too enamored by Yuki.
Before you do anything, I gotta have him do attacks. I gotta do something, otherwise Yuki's gonna.
Your turn.
Shove him.
Yeah, just shove him overboard. Yeah, so we got one Reaver here. He has 3 attacks that he's going to use. I guess he can only use them on Yuki. So, first attack, I'm assuming does not hit. 9 to hit? Nope. Second attack is a nat 16, which is maximum damage.
And
So
he
that's
gets
gonna-
popped with the bubble.
He does get popped with the bubble. Maximum damage is going to be 15. Minus 5, so that's 10 damage to Yuki, and he gets hit for 8. This guy's been damaged before. Oh no, not this guy. The other guy. It's first damage done to him. And then the next, last attack, he is going to swing at a 10 to hit DV. Nope, does not.
Nope.
Chinks off. I picture it like kind of like on like the edge sword fighting. It's just like whoosh, whoosh. You're just like chinking them with both of you are dual wielding, and you're just like like fighting each other. All right, cool. That's
Yeah.
all he can do. There you go. Your turn, Yuki.
Yeah. So Yuki's pissed. She's like, "You had your turn and you missed it. Now it's my turn." She's going to use for her first attack her Blade Song.
Okay.
So this deals an extra 3 damage. Unless it's a crit. It's not a crit, but it's pretty darn good. I'm assuming that's gonna hit. So 12 plus 10, 22 to hit.
22 hits. Oh, the Reaver's prepared for death. All right. Which Blade Song are you using?
Just the first. It's so I have to use just the Blade Song action to activate my songs.
Got it.
So it combos. Yeah, it combos. Yeah. So this is with the Void and Purple Broadsword, and that's max damage on that. So that is
His body's ready.
21 plus 3, 24 cutting damage. Oh, that's two-handed. Sorry, that's two-handed. That is 19 plus. No, that's right. 19 plus 3, right?
Yeah,
21
22.
or 22. 22 cutting damage with that first one. Sorry, I can math. The second attack, she's gonna combo into her Gildan Flame Blade, which basically does +4 flame damage, but it also activates her Blazing Spin, which, for those of you who don't know what that is the character's next weapon attacks affect all enemy targets in a 5-foot radius. So it'll also hit the bosun, who's right there.
So first, to do your attack for the Gildan Flame Blade.
Yeah. So that is a 19 to hit.
19 will hit. These guys are kind of squishy compared to maybe some of the other monsters and stuff that you fought in the past.
7 plus. So that's 16 cutting and then 4 flame.
You slay this guy.
I want to cut off his leg and then have him fall into the water.
Yeah, you begin to do the blade song as you begin to sing. There's basically these music notes that begin to surround your blade. You slash him, and then you use your Gildan Flame Blade, and the music notes begin to catch fire, and it surrounds your sword. And you chop his leg off, and he falls down backwards, and he screams "Ah!" as his leg gets cauterized with the chop. He dies.
So just to verify with this specific attack again, sorry everyone, this is the first time we're using these in battle. So it says on the Gildan Flame Blade, the next attack will do it. So this next attack, technically, if he was still alive, would be the one that hits everyone. Okay.
Yeah, so whatever your next attack is, hits everybody. So you could technically, so this is also a good caveat too. If it's the last attack of your turn, so if it's your third attack and you use Gildan Flame Blade and it lands, your first attack on the next combat round would hit everybody.
Okay, gotcha. I got 3 technically. Right now, so I'm gonna hit the last guy, I guess, with my other I guess back to my Void and Purple Broadsword.
Just normal attack.
Oh. And that is a nat 16, which does since it's the Blazing Spin, it's an extra plus d6 for damage.
I can't believe I have 5 guys in the water here. I was just failing. 5 guys failed to board. How does that happen?
So that's 18 cutting plus 3 flame plus 4 flame plus 7 flame damage. So 18 plus 7. So.
He is hurting. As you make this next attack, you basically do this blazing spin with your second attack after this guy falls off, and it does catch kind of the side of the bosun as you whack into him. Which brings us to the bosun, actually. He looks to you, and he is not happy. He is going to use his battle axe to make 2 attack actions. One against Yuki, and then one against...
Can you attack Bree first?
Sure, I guess. I guess. Does that make a difference?
Yep. Fine. Do it.
Why does it make a difference?
Just do it. It's good.
What are you not telling me?
I'm not telling you anything.
I know you're not. What are you not telling me?
She's still got
You
her
wrote
bubble
us.
on
You
her.
should know.
She's still got her bubble on her, so it will do 8 damage back to him if he hits.
Okay. Well, he'll attack Sari, or he'll attack Bree first. Who hit for an 18. So the total is going to be 12 minus 5.
7.
Bree actually has a decent number of hit points. She's got 29 hit points left. And yeah, he's gonna take 8 points.
Ooh, he's thick.
He's definitely thicker than the rest of them, by a lot. And then he is going to turn around and make his second attack at Yuki, and he is going to use his overhead slam, which has the potential to inflict broken on Yuki. So if this hits, I'm going to have you make a endurance skill check for me. It's going to be a natural 15, which I'm assuming hits. Okay, I'm going to have you make an endurance skill check for me.
No. What the heck? All right. That's fine. Endurance. Oh, I got bad endurance. Uh-oh. +1. 12.
12. You gain broken for the next 2 combat rounds, which is this combat round and the next combat round. Which essentially what broken does is every time you use an attack action, it costs a stamina, and basically everything costs 1 more stamina to be able to use.
There's worse things.
There's worse things, but
There's worse things.
you can. But normal weapon attacks for the duration do cost stamina. So.
Okay. Cool.
With that, so he does that for. Did I say how much damage?
No, you didn't.
Okay, let me roll for damage. For 20 points of cutting damage. He just cleaves down on you. Oof.
That's a
Oh! It's thick. The 2 C's.
It's all good. Doing okay still.
Okay, so that's the bosun. So that's all. I think there's only the 1 bosun. Which brings us to all the pirates. Okay, let's try to do this in order. We'll go here with Barnacle Bill. This pirate is going to make an attack, which that's going to be for a 14, which does hit. So Barnacle Bill takes a total of... Oh, I keep rolling max damage even though I'm not critting. 10 points of cutting damage.
how's Barnacle
he's not doing
Bill
good.
looking?
He's chilling with 5 hit points. So that's the 1 attack. This guy is going to make an attack against Thordain. For a natural 14 to hit, which I'm assuming hits Thordain for a total of 8 points of cutting damage. This guy is going to target Finn, which he does not hit at a 10. And then we got a bunch of guys around here. So this guy first is attacking Zil.
Bring it.
He did not get a crit, so he's not hitting. This guy down here is all the other roll. He did not get a crit, so he's not hitting. And then this guy against Belvin. $14 to hit?
That'll hit.
Okay, for a total of minimum damage, 3 points of cutting damage.
Just
And
tickled him.
I think that's all of them. Did I miss anyone? No, I don't think so. Cool. That's all the pirates. And then the captains He's currently trying to break out, so he's got 3 attack actions to try to break out of your grasp still. So it's just contested endurance, or it would be he'd make an endurance skill check against your physical skill check.
Okay.
17 for the
15.
first one. 15.
I got a 15.
He breaks out.
No!
It happens.
Technically, we have to make a way for There's a lot of people that do that. And then he's gonna make his last 2 attacks at you.
Okay.
That is a natural 2, so that's not gonna hit. And then his last attack is a natural 6, which is not going to hit. Oh boy. Oh boy. There's lots going on here. Captain Sullivan's pissed. So that's gonna be them, which brings us to the ship. So they're going to shoot 2 ballista bolts into Alomnia's breath. Alomnia's breath. What is the DV of Alomnia's breath?
I can look. Let's see.
I don't have your guys' character sheets pulled up, so
14, I think.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think
14.
well, first ballista for 15 to hit is going to deal.
To which part of the ship? The
Oh yeah. That's
mast or
going to
the
be the hull.
okay.
24 points of siege damage to the hull of the ship. And then this guy, last one over here is going to do another one, which it hits for 15, and it's going to do a total of...
To the
Oh.
which master hole?
the hull again. 18 points of damage.
We're doing good. We're fine.
Oh man, that's almost everybody. We're going to Zill now.
Woo!
You can
I'm
attack at
looking
full
to
strength, though.
Re-grapple the captain.
All right. He is going to make an endurance skill
Well,
check.
hold on. Actually, can I attack?
Yeah, if you got 2 attacks, you could attack first and then...
I want to
with them.
attack one of. I don't. I know I've attacked some of them in the past or damaged some of them,
Mhm.
but I do not remember which ones.
You've hurt the this guy before, and I believe you've hit the guy that was slain here. The captain
Great.
technically.
I'll
you've
attack
hit
that
before.
guy on the top left
Okay,
first.
this guy, the Reaver.
Dirty 16.
That'll hit.
Great. What am I rolling?
All right, Mr. Reaver, get ready to
I feel
be
like my brain is
Leviathan
not
next.
in it tonight. I am sorry.
Is it nice, Max, though, to be able to hit with your axe now?
It is
First blood with it. Actually, technically, I don't know first blood.
18 points of cutting damage.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just cleave right into the Reaver and make a big, deep gash into him. He is not feeling good. All right, and then you want to attempt to grapple?
Yes.
Okay, so physical skill check against his endurance. 16. Non-natural.
Nope.
All right, which brings us
I don't know
to
what, but I know I don't have an 8 physical, so...
part of the ship, part of the crew. Time for them to do their thing. We'll start off with Sariel. So she'll make a shot at the guy up here in the crow's nest here. She's got 2 attacks. First attack is a natural 16. Woo! Which is max damage, which will slay this Arbalister.
What else coming in clutch?
And then her second attack, she will make at this guy across the way. Yeah, these guys are like way more damaged too, so. For a 14, which does hit. That's going to be The guy stays alive. Barely. Moving on down. Well, we'll move on up here. Technically, Balthazar will attack. He is driving the ship, so he's going to get Despair for his one attack that he has. He gets a natural 16 again. Man, how many friggin' nat 16s have I had this combat? It's insane. That's going to be for a total of 11 points of cutting damage to Mr. Pirate. And then Barnacle Bill, he's going to use his dagger to attack this guy. And he just hits for a total of 4 points of cutting damage.
Take it. Is this his first blood he's ever done?
Yep, ever. Which will move down to Bree. Bree has 2 attacks. She's going to make both of them against this pirate.
Is she using Martha?
She could use Martha for one of her actions, so she's got a sword and she'll use
Also,
Martha.
I have a quick question. So I guess we'll worry about it during what is it called? Spacing at the end of the turn, right? Because he's backed up against the edge of a thing. So what happens if we win the combat challenge against?
Yeah, he gets knocked out. Yeah, he gets knocked out. Yeah, because they have to move back, away from them, because Bree is here. Technically, he would be able to move here if it was just you, but because Bree's here, he has to go at least 5 feet away. So that's backwards. Bree will use Martha for both. So first whip attack is going to be used against this guy. Well, both of them for a nat 16, which is going to be maximum damage, which is 13 points of impact damage.
Way to go, Martha.
Yeah.
And it has the chance to bind too. So that guy's got to make an agility survival check. At a natural 1, he's also bound, meaning the next weapon attack deals double damage with Martha. It's a special ability of Martha.
Oh man.
I have a hunch this guy's done for. Second attack, if it does hit, it's going to deal double damage. It does enough. It's a natural 14 to hit. So damage-wise is going to be maximum damage for 26.
Oh my god!
She whacks with Martha and it wraps around, and then she lashes him up, and then boom, slams him down into the ground, and he whacks his face very much.
Here's my question: did Belbin see all this?
Now Belbin is currently embroiled in intense combat. He just knocked someone off. He just knocked someone off the boat for his own. Okay. Cool. So that's gonna be Bree, and then we have Finn and Kokoro. Which do you guys want to see first attack?
Kokoro, yeah.
Okay. She'll make an attack. She doesn't use a weapon. She basically just attacks with her fists, which she just hits at an 8 for a total of 14 points of impact damage.
Hits like a truck.
Yeah.
Well, not compared to you guys, but yeah, I think we're just a regular attack. So she's got the 1 attack, and then Finn is gonna try to finish him off with his attack, which he actually misses at a 7.
Oh my god.
He does have 2 attacks though, so second attack. He does hit for a total of just enough to kill him, 8 points. Alright, well. Crew's taking care of them decently well.
Can what's her bucket heal?
Yeah.
Lyra?
That's a support action, so during the next turn she'll be able to go and do whatever healing she needs to do. Alright, that's all of the combats, I believe, which means we have positioning rules. So let's go ahead and start off here with Barnacle Bill. He's going against... He does succeed.
Yay!
So push back. This guy can technically move Actually, no, there's an Arbalester there. He can move back into this space if he does lose. All right, so I'm gonna have Thordane go ahead and make an endurance skill check. I'm gonna have Balthazar do one as well. Balthazar gets a 13.
19, natural 16 for play.
Yeah, so he is forced backwards here. But then it's gonna be this one. So Bree and the bosun. Bosun got an 11, and Bree got an 8.
Yuki, come at me. What is this, endurance?
Endurance skill check.
14.
14. Kerplunk. As he falls backwards into the water.
Are there sharks in this water?
Now that we're
Can I make a knowledge skill check?
Make a wisdom skill check. See if you can spot any fish or anything. Fish,
After I
sharks,
shut the guy
anything
off,
like
I'm
that.
looking for.
Well, I mean, some of these guys are bloodied, and so you're definitely chumming up the water. That's for sure.
14.
14. You look down. You can't see any fins. It's the dark of night. It's difficult to tell. There might be. If you start hearing screams from down below, that's probably a good sign. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and move. So that's that. No combats here. All right, Belbin. I'm gonna have both, since there's some equal combats here. Belbin, make your endurance skill check, and Zil, make your endurance skill check against a lot of endurance skill checks here. Oh gosh, okay.
Nat 1.
I rolled a 2.
If you want to use
For a total of
Zil,
what?
No, I
2.
need it for the initiative roll so I can get out of here.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure that they will get it, so we'll go to this guy first. Yeah, he got a 12 natural, so you're stuck here at least. And then we'll do first mate has a
She's
despair.
stunned?
Yeah,
Does it
she's got
matter?
despair on her check, which actually helps, but she still got higher than a 1. So, yeah, basically, I don't know if you guys are surrounded here. Belbin can step back with 1, so you're not surrounded, and Zil is surrounded, which means everybody is making attacks. So we got a captain, pirate technically can't do an attack. So this guy, is actually, I know this guy. Okay, so we're gonna get 1 attack from these 4. So starting with this pirate, that is not going to hit because it's not a crit. This Reaver does not hit. This first mate does not hit. And
Zil.
17, which does not hit.
This is the fun part
my
of being a tank.
Gosh, everybody's just like whacking you and just tinking off. Yeah, cool. So
Now
everybody-
imagine once I get Refinium plate and a Refinium helm.
Oh, disgusting. With that being the case, that all these people have to move back to make way.
Can Sariel like take cover or anything like that? After...
Yeah, she can absolutely do that.
Okay.
Oh, she's gonna be fine.
Yeah, she's gonna lay flat and be like this. The crow's nest. No one's hitting her.
Was Thordane ever hit?
Thordane was.
Thordane was hit.
Oh,
Actually.
was he?
He was hit.
Can I target
I don't know if
someone
we
with full
broke
health?
his shield.
Can you what?
Can I target someone with full health?
Can you target someone with full health? What do you mean?
For healing.
Technically, you can. It won't heal them anything, but
I'm aware.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, what are you
technically
planning?
you can.
What's happening?
You'll see next turn.
All right.
all right.
That's the bottom of the combat round. So, oh, no ballistas or anything. That would be nobody's arming those. All right. Go ahead, everybody. Make your.
I am using
initiative.
the inspiration or hope for my initiative roll.
Okay.
Did you need to use it?
I need this.
The crew did pretty good.
Nat 16. Thanks,
16?
freaking goodness.
right, that's
for an
gonna be
18 total.
15 for the crew.
Ooh, crew. Way to go,
18
crew.
total for Zil.
Yes. I need to roll. So, yeah.
Belbin.
Hey.
21.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Belbin,
Yeah.
you might want to give Zil a hug.
We're in the middle of battle, though, Zil. Why would we want to do that?
So he doesn't abandon you. Zil is saying this to Belbin. Like,
Thordane.
this isn't exactly I'm
18.
saying this isn't
Or
above
30.
game. Belbin, if you want to get out, come to me, please.
Luxalia
14.
and Yuki.
11.
Yuki's the slow one.
She's
Which-
chonked. She got whacked by a battle axe in the head.
She did. I picture that scene when Haldir in the Two Towers gets whacked by the berserker from behind. Wah!
Yeah.
Right in the head. But she shakes it off. It's good. She got horns.
Yeah,
Belbin,
but-
you're starting off the movement phase.
Belbin, we're getting out of here.
Okay. Give me one
I
sec.
hope.
Let's see. What do I want to do?
He's gonna pull some pranks. He's gonna pull
You
some
just
pranks
have to be able
before
to
he
like
hugs-
grasp hands with Zil. That's what he's trying
Okay.
to tell you. That's what he does tell you.
So
Hold
Right,
my
Kaido?
hand, Belbin.
Belbin, grab my hand. Don't tell the elf.
You're gonna have to toss me.
Not the beard.
who has more damage? The captain,
captain.
or the first
Total remaining hit points. First mate
Yeah.
has less.
mate? Okay. Golly. Okay, let's try something. I'm gonna move here.
You also have
I don't-
Kunai, I want to remind you, which you can use as a reflex support action to attack.
Actually-
However, if you do leave the boat, you abandon your Kunai.
Okay.
You can't reclaim them if it goes down to the bottom of the sea.
That's fair. Oh, I
I guess you could use a support action. I guess you only have the one support action, so never mind.
Belbin is
Why don't you
actually
just
going
send
to listen.
Whoa,
Um,
Belbin!
I
what
know.
is he
I
doing?
actually rolled for it. Belbin's gonna
listening.
listen to Zil,
Okay.
but I'm also going to use my new time rush so that I can use one attack action against a target.
Okay. You get hope on this roll because she is stunned.
Great.
That's cool.
And then arrow
damage.
cutter. So Belbin has never used anything that costs mana.
Okay.
This is the first one. Do I need to be within range? Like, what's the range?
It depends on the ability.
Yeah. Let me double check for arrow cutter.
Oh, range 50 feet. I didn't even need to move closer. Okay, I see that. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, so I roll a d16 plus my mind. I don't even know what my mind modifier is because I've never had to really use it. 4. Okay. Let's see if I can hit this. 16. Will a 16?
16 will hit. So you're using a? Hold on. Let me double check the time rush. So I wonder if that's just normal attacks. It might not be.
Okay.
Double check. Immediately use one attack. Nope, that's not specifying. So yes, you can use your arrow cutter.
Great.
Feel free.
Okay. So then I need to do 1d10 plus my mind, so that'll be 11 points of damage.
Okay.
And she takes 2 damage over time. At the end
Until
of it,
the
at the end
battle.
of, yep, until the end, she takes 2 points of earth damage
Oh.
until the end of combat.
So
Is that included though your ring? Because all of your ring also does. four
it's a
darkness
it's a
damage.
manic art. It's not a regular weapon attack.
Yeah, this isn't.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
oh, Belbin.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
why.
10,
That's what
you
I'm
said?
saying. It would be 11. Sorry, 11 damage, and then Will she take 2 at the end of this combat round as well, or is that starting next round?
At the end of this combat round will be the first one that she takes 2 damage. So I'm already calculating that into the fact unless she dies. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you do so. You make your way over to Zill, and you, before you reach out your hand, you really focus your attentions, and you begin to cast the spell. Basically, all of these like cutting gales begin to surround her and like chop her from all directions, as it leaves kind of these gaping wounds and kind of like this green aura around her. She doesn't like it. Probably not used to seeing this either. Cool. And then that is going to be Belbin's turn. Are you grasping?
I'm
Zill?
holding on to Zill.
Thordane.
Yeah, Thordane's pretty chilled. He sees that there is trouble a-brewing, and so Thordane is going to see his his friend.
Did you guys stop
Bill.
Did you guys stop the boat, or are you guys still sailing?
Oh, I thought we were still sailing. We're still going, right? It takes more than a turn just to lay anchor, don't it?
Oh shoot. Oh no.
Can I still see the boat?
Yeah, you definitely still see
Yeah,
the boat.
you're good.
Oh, thank goodness.
Sorry, Thordane. Thordane. I need to double check to see.
Oh
what
boy.
he's got.
How are we gonna do this? We'll say that you guys are, because you can't really see it on the.
Do you just want to leave the boat where it is for the grid and then use like our boat marker,
Yeah, that's
like
probably
the
good.
map one?
Yeah, I like that. Good
For-
idea.
Okay.
All right. So technically, the back
This
of
is
the
good.
boat
This gives me.
is.
Cover up Kyle Ardane.
I'm here. Don't worry.
All right, cool.
Don't mind me.
All right, sweet. And which brings us to Thornton. What is he doing?
So he's going actually to go to Barnacle Bill, seeing that he is bleeding out on the floor, and
Yeah.
says,
And he looks up. He looks up to you, Thornton, and is like, "I think it's my time, Captain." As he's taking his beard to try to soak up some of the blood.
Thordane puts his
It
hand under his
hurts.
neck
It stings.
and embraces him, and he's just like, "Shh, it is not your time, Barnacle Bill. We will live to see this day." And he takes out of his bag, or out of his pouch, he's got a simple healing herb.
Which he has herb lore, meaning it heals maximum.
Yeah. Well, there you go. He uses a simple herb, which
And
is
how much is that heal?
yeah. I gotta double check that. Sorry. This is the first time I'm using these kinds of things. Kind of crazy.
Thorday, I can picture him like standing over the top of Barnacle Bill. He's like, "Barnacle Bill, tell me, where does it hurt?" As he takes out these herbs and he begins
Sorry,
to mash them into
it's
a
a
poultice.
potion. It's a potion. It's not a.
Okay, so it's
not
kind of
a,
the same thing, anyways.
herb.
Doesn't matter. He takes out this
Yeah,
potion. He's
it's
like, "Here,
10
drink." Okay, how much?
Yeah, it would be 10 hit points.
All right, well, he's looking good now. He's back up to 15. Barnacleville takes a sip, and all of a sudden his wounds begin to kind of heal. And he looks, he says,
What's Barnacle
What?
Bill's max?
18. Okay. I feel like a new man! As he stands up with his dagger and he is like, let me at him, let me at him.
And Thordane says, Bartholomew, what's his name? Why do I
Balthazar.
always forget his name.
Balthazar.
Balthazar. He's like, I have got this as the captain. You face off against that scallywag in the corner. Relive your pirate days, and he takes the helm.
Aye, aye, Captain. As he pulls out his sword and he starts getting ready to take a couple steps towards this pirate.
That's what he does.
First mates are going to start doing their thing. The ship can't do anything, and so this first mate is gonna come over here,
What did the first mates roll?
and she is going to begin to raise her red flag, and she's gonna call out, "Captain! Captain! we're under attack! As basically as if they didn't know that they were under attack at this point. But at the end of this combat round, the captain will come out here to do something. But yeah, considering the boat's already sailing away, I don't know how much that's gonna do. Meaning you have left all of these guys in the dust.
Is the ship on the left moving too, or no?
This one's currently
No,
sinking. It still has sails, so it is moving a little bit, but it's definitely like now sinking.
Okay. Okay.
But with that, we are going to have a Zill. Your turn, Zill.
Thank
Oh,
goodness.
this
I am
lady,
teleporting
she's
back
still
to
stunned, so she can't do
Alami's
anything.
breath.
Okay. So as
I'm
you,
bringing Belbin with me. We're going back to Lamnia's breath. Get me out of here.
as
wrap your cloak.
Belbin grabs you, you take your cloak and you basically throw it in the air in the direction of Lamnia's breath. And for a brief second, Belbin, you almost kind of get this weightless experience. And in a blink of an eye, you appear on the deck, right here next to
Okay, perfect.
right here next to basically, I guess you would probably be targeting the back of the boat, so you'd probably be chilling right here, the two of you, and all these black feathers basically explodes in like a plumage as you just suddenly appear back on board Alamia's breath. There is only one pirate here, and he's looking around, and he sees you, Zill. He is actually going to make a mind survival check.
Yeah, there's just like two random pirates that we're just sailing away with.
Reavers can't really do anything. Arbalesters can't really do anything. The crew, yeah, Balthazar, he is
Wait.
going to...
Hold on, it's still my turn.
Oh, you're right, it is still your turn. Go for it.
I'm gonna look at this guy, see him, and use Brudon.
As you do so, you appear suddenly right next to this pirate. All right. Does he have a survival check he needs to make, or is this like an attack? How does that work?
Agility survival check.
He
he
got
needs to
a
be
13.
What's my elemental? He passes.
Okay.
So he is not prone. I think he takes half damage. No. Nothing happens. Really? Nothing?
Rudon.
No. Nothing happens.
You shout at him
Scared
very
me.
intimidatingly. I'm gonna actually re-roll his mind survival check at despair.
I'll accept that. I'll take that.
Cool. And with that, it's the crew's turn. So Balthazar is going to make his way over.
We made it off the boat, Belbin. That was a little stressful. But also, can we appreciate, Zill was attacked 33 times.
Oh my god.
He was hit 6.
Pretty good. Pretty good probability right there.
What is your remaining hit point total right now for that 6 attacks?
I think 87 out of 148.
Yeah, so the 6 attacks did some damage, but imagine
Yeah,
if all of those hit. Like it
2 or
would've been
3
bad
of
time.
them were like nothing. They were like 4 damage, and then there was like 2 really big ones because I think 2
That
people
crits.
crit,
Yeah.
and then I think the captain hit me, and he did some damage.
Yeah. that'll
It was
do
brutal.
it. Crew members. So we're gonna go over and anybody get whacked. Lyra is going to
Lyra.
do a heal on.
Ariel.
Well, she's up in the crow's nest. So
Luke Solius just kind of shouts out as they're going, if she can't. Can she?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody hurt? Come to me! Come to me!
15. Actually, she has just enough to get up to Sariel, so she's going to heal Sariel for cure, which will
stealing my job.
9 hit points back to Sariel, which puts her up at 15.
I had a plan.
16. 16, I mean.
My plan is now useless. No, because
Uh,
Yuki needs it. Yuki basically took half her HP that one turn.
And anyone else? Kokoro's gonna go down and join Aldreg Monteblair. Ooh. And Horatius is going to come up and he says, "Is everything okay?" As he looks from side to side, he sees that there are lots of blood on the deck, but very few bodies.
No.
As he begins to count people. He makes his way over 5, 10, 15. He's going to use his disengage support action as he makes his way over to the back of the ship. And he looks out to the back and he says, "Wow." And he looks from side to side. "You've done good." And he kind of like leans up against the banister, still looking out the back of the ship. And that's what he's going to do. Finn is going to come over here and man this ballista, turn it around to aim at the back of this ship. So he's going to take fire there. Since this one can't move, he wants to do this one in. Who are we missing? Bree. She's going to 5, 10, 15 engage this pirate. And then I think that's it. Oh no, Barnacle Bill is gonna... "I feel like a new man!" It comes down and engages this guy in combat. Okay, cool. That's all the crew at the moment, I believe. And then that brings us to Luxalia. Whoever she is.
Does Sariel still?
Where'd Luxalia go?
need
Oh, she's over
healing?
here.
Is she under Kokoro?
What about
Does
Kokoro?
Sariel still
Sariel's-
need healing?
Yeah. She's under. Yeah,
Okay.
Lyra's
I'm gonna
still.
cast Mana Mending
Okay.
on Sariel,
Okay.
which also heals everyone within 10 feet of her.
Which would be.
Which is why I asked the question, because I was gonna target Thordane, but then people moved.
Yeah, that'll heal you.
That's 10 HP.
Nice.
10 HP.
Yep.
pretty good.
Yuki, how you feeling?
Full hit points.
She's better. That definitely helped. For sure. She's at
Do you need
59
another?
of 82.
We're gonna do that
Yuki's
again on
got
Yuki.
some healing. Yuki's got some healing. If you want to
got
use
2
another one,
support action.
she could use it. She definitely could use it.
I'm gonna use another one on Yuki. Ooh, that's 17.
Oh, yeah, she's doing good.
And I think that is all Luxalia's gonna do. Well, does she? Yep, that's all Luxalia's gonna do. She's just gonna keep some people alive. Well, yeah, that's it. Sorry, I'm trying to read her abilities.
Bosuns, these guys are going to just try to swim back to their respective boats. However, they're going to start swimming in this general direction to try to get on the boat that's not sinking. So he's going to swim that way. Do you have any reavers down there? Yuki, your turn.
Yeah, so Yuki looking, now that she's got the healing, that's actually kind of nice, because now she can move out of the way. Yuki's going to go to the back of the ship, back here, and kind of go up here and like look over the edge. How far away is Alamnia's, like the back of Alamnia's breast from the captain?
Oh, gosh. I would say probably somewhere in the ballpark of 60 feet, 80 feet maybe.
Oh. Okay. And there's no direct. I don't have direct sight of him though.
No,
because
you do not. Definitely do not. Yeah, you see basically the back of the ship. The only people you have direct sight of is this guy in the crow's nest and the person sailing the boat. And I guess people in the water.
So I have a quick question about the fly for the Draken wings.
Mhm.
I know I can't use physical attacks with it. Can I use manic arts?
Yes, you can.
while I'm flying.
Basically, you can use anything that you
Um,
don't have to engage in a combat challenge for. So ranged attacks and mana cards, you can still use while flying.
I mean, that still begs the question. Yeah, Yuki doesn't want to be left behind because this is continuing to go, so she's not.
Yeah, it's a quick ship.
Instead what she's gonna do, instead of going up here, if that's okay,
Mhm.
she's gonna climb into the crow's nest with Sariel.
Okay.
And she will use her. That's what she's gonna do.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Which brings us to the brig. You're no longer in range of ballista fire. Pirates, they're gonna all begin to start swimming. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'll try to get back up on board. They've been climbing. Okay. And you begin to hear the captain, Captain Solden, go, "Abandon ship! The ship is going down, lads!" And yeah, so everybody's gonna start jumping. Actually, they're gonna try to climb into the boat that you
Oh yeah, the dinghy.
so graciously left them.
How far down has the boat gone? Because
Basically,
sinking,
the front of it is like basically underwater at this point. Everybody's abandoning ship. 5, 10,
The pirates don't give the captain a spot in the dinghy.
Oh, don't worry. There's other boats.
They got no on.
Yeah, they're just like
They don't have on.
every man for themselves. Now it's the captain's turn. He's gonna get up and he jumps down, pushes this guy off.
There's always room for the captain.
There's always room for the captain. And cool.
The poor
I guess
lady who's stunned on board. She's just
until the end of the turn. Yeah, everybody just abandoning the ship as much as they can. Which brings
What about
us
the guy in the crow's nest? Oh, it's not his turn yet. Sorry.
to these guys, the arbalesters. He's gonna begin to climb down. So it's gonna be 10 feet. 20, and start making his way over to the side of the ship. As it's starting to Titanic, as it's starting to go up, raise up at the front, slightly. It's not completely like vertical yet, but it's definitely struggling. Okay. These guys are already engaged in combat, so they can't do anything. Which brings us to Belvin. Your turn in the attack phase. I guess there's not really anything unless you want to throw
You could
kunai
swivel
or something like that.
arbalist. You could go to the swivel arbalist.
Is that right here?
Yeah, they're red.
Yeah, I'll go to that.
You've already had your turn in the movement phase, but I'll say that you did that during your movement phase. So you make your way over to the swivel arbalist because you still had. I guess that wouldn't be the case because you ended your turn before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so never mind.
Okay.
No swivel
That's fine.
arbalist for
Hey,
you.
I got you back safely.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't think I want to throw any kunai. I'm probably gonna hit my buddy Barnacle Bill or someone else. So I'll just stay put.
Thornton, he's sailing, so
He's sailing.
first
having a good old
mates, nobody can make attacks right now. Zill, do you want to make an attack?
Oh, absolutely.
Get
I'm
him.
swinging my axe.
11.
Yep, that'll hit.
Really? I can hit on a 3.
Sick.
These regular pirates have 8 to their DP, so
12. They have an 8.
I can only miss on a Nat 1.
And as you hit, you cleave him down as he falls into the water and he perishes.
Amazing. We love that.
All right.
Well, that's it. That's all I got.
Brings us to Arbalesters. I guess these guys can make attacks. So these two are going to make attacks. Actually, Horatius. As they're sailing far away. First one is a natural 1 from this guy, and then this guy here is a 6, which does not hit. So Horatius is good. This guy's currently running. I guess he technically has view. He'll try to make a shot against Zill, which does not hit at a 12. Right, that's all they can do, which brings us to the crew. So we're gonna start using Martha first to attack. To attack this guy. And that is going to be a 9 to hit, which does hit for a total of 10 points of damage, which he's surviving with 1 remaining hit point. She's going to use her second attack. Does not hit at a 7, which means it's going to have to be up to Barnacle Bill to do it with his 1
Get
attack.
him! Get him!
For a 10, he does hit, and yeah, he jumps up. I picture him running, and he's just like, "This is how you got me last time," and he just like jumps up and buries his dagger into the guy, and yeah, he dies. All right, that's all that's going on there.
What about Sariel? Sariel can shoot.
Sariel can make shots. So she's gonna shoot at this guy. So she's got 2 shots. That's going to be 9 to hit for a total of 15, which does slay him. And her second shot...
Yuki whispers, "Go
she
for the
is in range.
captain! Go for the captain! Ah, he's in the boat!"
She looks down and she says, "I'll try." She makes her shot. She does hit at a 17 for a total
Talking about Sariel.
13 points of damage.
Oh.
She hits hard. She doesn't struggle, I guess, with seeing. Belbin thinks she does, but and it loses. And you hear like, that hurt. So it just gets shot. And lastly, I think that's most everybody. Finn, he's gonna make his shot at this sinking ship. Although he thinks against it. He's like, it's gonna sink anyway. So he actually doesn't release.
What about the dinghy? Can he hit the dinghy?
Good call.
With the captain in it?
He's gonna try.
Yeah.
He's gonna shoot the boat. Which that thing only has a 9 for its a DV. It's a 12 to hit. Oh gosh. Oh
Come
gosh.
on.
This is gonna be an I mean, the boat's exploded at this point. Like it's gonna be more of residual damage against everybody else.
It's
so
5d10.
Yeah,
It's
look.
5d10.
Oh, gosh. 32 points of damage as it just obliterates these guys that are in the boat. Obliterates these guys. Captain somehow survives as he gets thrown into the water. Oh man. There's that. And then the last person is Horatius. He looks back to the rest of you and he says, "So what do you think?" As he looks over at all of the pirates trying to climb on board. "Should we leave them?"
I guess I can't really do much.
He is specifically, I guess, talking more to Zill, Thordane, and Belbin. He says so calmly.
We gave
Bell
them
wants
a
to turn
chance.
back.
Belvin wants to turn back. Does he say that to Horatius?
Yeah, he's saying, turn back and let's finish them.
I don't think there's any need. As Horatius looks to the heavens and he closes his eyes tight. As he opens them again, they shine in a radiant blue as he calls down this large pillar of light that strikes the center of the ship.
Why did he? Why was it?
Who is this
Help,
guy?
For a total of 68 points of light damage.
Oh
As it just
God.
blows a hole right
crap.
down the center of their ship from top to bottom. And the ship itself begins to start taking on water. And he
We could have
basically-
offered them a second chance.
He turns around. He turns around. His eyes still glowing blue, and you can see that they're slowly fading. It's slowly fading back to its normal color. And you can see that it takes everything out of him as he slumps down with his back turned to the boat. He is very much in a similar state from when you had first seen him, as he begins to breathe kind of heavily, and he says, "I need to rest."
No kidding.
And with that, battle is concluded.
Oh my
my God.
What? Crazy.
What was that? This guy. He should have helped us right away. Okay. Well,
All
there
right.
you go.
And with that, as I had mentioned, battle is concluded. We are going to take a quick break as I finish cleaning this off. But we will be back in a few minutes, everybody. So if you guys will go ahead and mute yourselves, take a bathroom break, do what you got to do, and then we will be back soon. And we are back as the ship Alomnia's Breath begins to sail away towards Aishan Island. The kind of crew, many of them seeing this as kind of like their first combat, they all kind of like gather around Horatius, and they see as he kind of closes his eyes and he actually falls unconscious on the deck. What are you guys doing in the meantime?
Luxalia is gonna run over to him and just see, like, kind of hold him and see what she can notice.
I'm gonna have her make a wisdom skill check for me.
11.
11. She kind of looks him over once more, and you can see that there is actually like kind of like almost like a visible like anger in her as she looks at him. She sees that like physically he's fine. He has no injuries, no wounds or anything, but almost as if he is kind of like in like a sleep almost. Not so much a like a drained state, but more of like a sleeping state. He doesn't seem hurt or injured in any way. But she looks to him and she says, "I didn't want them to die. They had a chance of being saved." As she kind of like looks at him like in anger and kind of like shakes him almost to a degree to which he doesn't respond to her at all.
Interesting.
Can't hear you, Dane.
Is it because he's unconscious? Is that why he's not responding?
Yeah, he's just completely unconscious right now. Like his eyes slowly closed, and then now he's unconscious.
So it's not by choosing not to
no,
respond.
no.
It's just
he's in a sleep.
Okay.
Which brings the question, Thordane says, if what did you talk about over there? Did they say anything useful?
Yuki, I'm assuming is down at this point, and kind of just like with everyone. She's like, well, we did our best to try to parlay with them. However, I feel like we did a pretty good job, but the information that we got was that they were going to Skyspire Island as part of a pirate army being formed by Jackman Nobbs. And what ended up leading to the squabble there was they put their faith more in Jackman Nobbs than they did in us and Alomnia. However, we did learn that one thing that they claimed, at least, that Takai Town has been razed to the ground by pirates.
Thordane, he keeps his eyes directly ahead on the boat as he kind of takes this in, and he says, well, that is concerning. Which I guess begs the question, where shall we take port? Originally, I think we were supposed to port at Flomberge, but should we check on Takai Town to see if these rumors are true, or shall we stay course? We're only 2 miles off the coast. We shall be there in less than 30 minutes.
How long would it take to kind of circumnavigate? Because I know Takai Town's on the opposite side of the island. How much extra would
Aishan
that
Island
add on?
is quite large. It would take the better part of about half a day, too. So you could probably get there by morning if you continued sailing.
I mean,
How long are we planning to stay at Flomberge? Because we were just going there for the meeting, right?
Yep.
And how many days is it until the meeting?
From now, based off of what King Farron said, that he would meet you in 10 days from your departure, it is currently the start of the 7th day. So you have 3 days until the meeting is to take place, and King Farron will be there.
Zell chimes in. If a whole city was razed, what good can we do?
well, I
Would-
guess
would it
what
not-
he means.
would it not be better to go talk to um
Nelgor.
King
Now,
Nalgor and let him know, and he can send more aid?
Well, I see the point of both. I know pirates are notorious for lying, so maybe he was just lying somehow. Although it seemed to me that he was confused when because we had mentioned that we were um a patrol ship, and he seemed confused when we said that the Flortensia was docked at Takai Town. And that's when he said that Takai Town was raised. So makes you wonder if the Flortensia at some point had departed itself, but it didn't seem like he was lying. But again, I never trust a pirate.
Luxalia, she chimes in at this comment, and she says, yeah. And she could tell that she's still shaken up a little bit by this. She says, they didn't really have much useful information to give us. All I can remember is, I know that there was hope for him. I could tell that there was a sliver of doubt in the captain. What was his name? Captain Sullivan. Just can't believe. Just leaving them out there to drown. As the ship you can see in the distance as you continue to sail, both ships. The one of them has completely submerged, and there are some people you can hear some calling off in the distance of the pirates that have gone overboard, and everybody who's abandoned ship trying to pick up some kind of stray, basically driftwood to be able to float on and whatnot.
Yeah,
she says,
Yuki turns.
"We could go back for them, you know. We could." And you could tell that she's like racking her brain to think of something to convince Thordain to turn back for them.
Well, Yuki turns to Luxali and says, well, didn't they choose their fate? I mean, I know we can only give them so many opportunities is the thing. You know, sometimes you choose your own demise.
True, but we are the senders. We're supposed to save people. We're not supposed to. I understand that they were preying upon people, preying upon the innocent, and if what they're saying is true, they did raise Takai Town, they have justice to be paid. But that's Alomnia's job. That's not our job.
I mean, would they have paid us the same respect? For example, Zil, that nifty cape is coming quite handy. Would they have had as much mercy on Zil and Belbin if they had been left behind? I know you can't compare the both, because broken souls are broken souls, but at the same time, I find it hard. Even though I'm trying to find the pity in them, I really feel like they chose this upon themselves. You know, you can only give them so many opportunities, Luxalia.
She shakes her head and she says, I don't care what we do. I'll be in my room. As she kind of storms off and she goes down below deck. You can tell she's fuming at this point. And you hear in the kind of the distance her like slamming the door closed to her room.
He turns to Belbin and Zil and Thordain and says, I'm not wrong, am I?
Like you, Alumni is new to me. And I want to know him more. And I want to change. It's a tough path. And we have seen people in tough situations be given the option and take it with Duluth. They didn't take it.
Thordain
That's what I'm
says,
thinking.
I've lived long enough here in Everlast to know that, yes, while allegiances can change, it takes time for these types of things. They were clearly, with the damage that they've done to our ship, they meant us harm, and they have done Probably some terrible things, especially if they were partially responsible for the raising of Takai Town. Luxalia claimed that it was Alomnia's justice that needed to happen, and not our justice. But do you think that Alomnia used us as conduits? That's the way I look at it. Perhaps we were that swift arm of justice that they needed.
Not only... I don't know enough about that, Thordain. Maybe, maybe not. But it would have been nice to give them an option again after we showed our strength to take them on and give them a second chance.
You're acting as if they're already dead, Zill. They're just back there. You can hear them screaming.
I'm going to have the 4 of you make wisdom skill checks for me.
I got what's my wisdom?
Ooh, nat 16 for me.
I
feeling wild.
Either a dirty 16 or a 17. 17.
18 total, but natural 16.
It's a 7 for Yuki, and for Thordain, wisdom. For Thordain, 17.
The group of you noticeably see Barnacle Bill as he tries to Balthazar tried to interject as he looks he has like a spyglass as he's looking at the pirates off in the distance, and he says, "If I have something to say," and you can see, so Zill, Belbin, and Thordain can see that he seems like he's listening to this conversation, but he doesn't necessarily seem troubled by the things that you are saying. And he says, "Aye, that's destiny, I would have to say. I feel I need to be more honest with you, at least as far as giving my opinion on the matter. I used to serve under a pirate's name, pirate flag. I was the first mate of my ship, until we were marooned at one point. A storm ran us aground, and many of us decided to overthrow our captain. I stood against it, and the mutiny was then brought against me. I hated them for it. The rest of the crew, they gathered what they could to make a raft from that island, and they escaped. Not before killing the captain right in front of me. They gave me an opportunity to come with them, or to stay there and die on that island. I stayed. I couldn't bear something deep within my heart, my soul. To be a captain of people that would so easily turn on me when times got tough. And he sighs as he looks back and he says, that day, I would have loved to see each and every one of them drown, returned to the depths. I was bitter, and I hated them. I started to reflect on my pirating ways, thinking of if I were to escape, what to do next. And then I thought, perhaps that was what all of us deserved. But somehow, we were spared. I was saved one day, 2 months later. A charter ship from the Empire came through. They picked me up. I told them I was a sailor. And that is where I started to change. It took time for me to see a different path. I wanted to do something to change my destiny. I partially wonder if my old crewmates are still out there, sailing the seas, preying upon people. I did not recognize anybody on that ship. But all I know is I was spared from the swift arm of justice because of a decision that I made. And if I were to die, that indeed would have been my destiny. I was meant for something greater to sail upon Alamnia's breath. I feel no pity for those who are dying out there. That is their form of justice.
Also, something to remember. They tried to kill us,
Aye.
and we reacted.
If Luxalia didn't want him to die, she should have offered them something else besides the word of Alamnia.
I do think that Alexalia does need to know how to read a room. Not everybody has the same piety as her. Even amongst our crew, there are many people from many walks of life. And if she truly wants to change hearts for Alamnia, she needs to know how to speak to the common person, and not expect them to just change their old ways. It's much more difficult. As I had mentioned, it had taken me months of solitude to even begin to think of that.
I do wonder, though. Months of solitude, you say? Do we need to have on this ship the most comfortable prison anybody's ever seen?
Don't we have a
Do
prison?
we have a
I
prison?
thought we did. I
I don't
thought
know.
You guys do not.
That's
have
an
a prison.
addition we could have done.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a comfortable one.
Are you saying we should go back and pick these guys up and bind them and throw them in the cellar or something like that?
I'm not saying this is more looking forward than any answer to current. But if we could offer these people a chance of this solitude you're talking about, Bill.
He doesn't break his gaze as Balthasar looks out into the drowning people, and it's slowly getting quieter as you begin to sail away. And he says, "Aye, but I can't help but think about it myself. If me and my crew were sailing the high seas, and let's say the Empire sent their ship, and we were all held at sword point, I would like to think that we would all die out of loyalty for our captain. We were in a place in our lives where all we thought were about riches, powers, and freedoms. If we were attacked, I would like to think that me and my crew would have fought to the last, and that would have been our fate. But that was not my fate. I do fear that if we did grab some of them, maybe some of the underlings, the weaker minds, could be more easily malleable. But that captain, I'm sure he would much rather die than speak, or turn over whatever master he serves as Jackman Nobbs. Even when I was pirating, that was a name that all pirates feared. Yet I never encountered him before. I do fear that if you do owe him some kind of allegiance, perhaps death beneath the waves would be much better than betraying his trust.
Another thing to consider. I tried to capture the captain. I tried to bring him aboard so we could talk to him. And I failed.
Aye.
And I failed due to his resistance, not from any lack of effort. Believe me, I tried. I wrestled him as furiously as I could. But well, this is unfortunate. We gave them more than one chance. And they didn't take him.
As you say this, you hear Thordane. He calls back and he says, "I need a decision. We're going to be docking at Flambird soon."
Yeah, Yuki. I mean, how far away are we from the wreck at this point?
You're probably about 15-ish minutes out, which means you're about 15 minutes from landing at the place where you had originally found the Alumnius breath.
So that would be too far for Yuki just to go back and see if there are any survivors.
I mean, you could probably fly about, but as far as you would only really be able to carry one at a time, and with the boat still sailing, with the extra weight, it would be difficult for you to return without the boat just stopping.
Okay. Belbin's just gonna.
Yuki.
Oh, you go.
No, go ahead.
Belbin's gonna push Balthazar out of the way and swing the steering wheel to turn the boat around.
What the Belbin?
Who are you?
Thordane gets pushed aside and he says, "Clearly a decision's been made. I didn't think that option was on the table." As he lets you take the wheel. Do you know what you're doing with that, Belbin?
Yuki?
No.
Balthazar, help Belbin out.
Yuki takes off and flies back towards the wreck, seeing that this is the thing. She's going to be looking in particular for people who are still alive, obviously. She doesn't really necessarily care about the people who are dead. And she's going to just try to find a few of them, ideally a captain or first mate, if she can find one.
Belbin, make a faith survival check for me.
Belbin, what is going on?
Roll faith. 11.
11. You recover 3 points of misery.
Whoa.
Nice.
Okay.
And with that, you turn the ship around as it begins to sail back towards the wreckage. Yuki, you fly out ahead of the ship as the ship has to make a big, wide berth in order to catch up. And as you continue to fly towards it, all of the lanterns have been essentially extinguished. And so it's difficult to tell as you crane your ears to listen to see if there's any survivors. As you begin to hear very, very little other than the sound of the waves. I'm going to have you make a wisdom skill check for me.
Okay. 13.
You begin to see signs of floating debris, signs of the wreckage. You do not see anybody that is currently floating. You do not see anybody that is currently alive at the moment. That being said,
Yuki calls out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
You do call out.
She just calls out.
Is Mila with us?
Princess Mila, yeah, she's on the ship. She's not part of this conversation. She was below deck during the majority of the time.
I'm gonna go and get her.
Okay. You do so. Yuki, I'm gonna have you make an influence skill check for me. Let's jump back to Zil. So Zil, you go and you grab Princess Mila.
And I just kind of catch her up that, like, hey, we turn around, like, we're looking for survivors.
Princess Mila, she looks to you and she says, "Is everything okay? Luxalia came down here in a huff. I've never seen her quite like that."
We got in a scuff with some pirates. She didn't want them to die. They did. Many of them did. We're doing what we can. That's why I grabbed you.
What would you want me to
as
do?
we're having this conversation, are we on the deck?
Oh, no, you're down below deck, basically in like the galley where the food is being served. It's kind of like the main gathering space for most people.
Are we walking?
If you want to be.
Yeah, I wanted to bring her up onto deck.
Yep, perfect.
As soon as I get back up on the deck, I'm gonna start taking my armor off. How long
And
does that take?
Something
probably
Zill's never done before.
I know, right?
it's actually
Hey,
much
he did it the onsen.
it's much quicker to take off your armor than it is to put it on, so I would say probably about 5 minutes ish.
And so I'm catching her up as I'm doing this, and I just look at her holding my axe. Help me look.
What are we looking
she's
for
a
exactly?
And I go jump off the boat.
She sees and she follows and she looks back actually up to the rest of the crew, confused at what everything's happening, and she says, fine, I'll be right back. And she goes down below, and you see that she comes up in not her dress, but more of kind of like tighter fitting clothes, pants and whatnot, as she jumps over the side. She goes below and she sees Zill with his axe, searching around in the pitch black waters for something, and she comes over to you. Zill, you can breathe underwater, but you're not really able to communicate or talk much. However, Princess Mila is, as she comes over to you and she says, Zill, what are we looking for exactly?
I just kind of hold my chest, like trying to say like people breathing or trying to.
I'm going to have you make a charisma survival check for me.
Now one.
She has no idea what you're saying, but she looks around and she says, I'll let you know if I find anything out of the ordinary, as she swims around. Let's go ahead and jump back up to Yuki. So Yuki, what was your
So it was a natural 15 for a 19 influence skill check.
Okay. You begin to call out, and you hear a couple voices that say, she's back. The winged demon is back. As they, you can tell that like there's like movements that are in the waters. You can't really see, but you can that there are a few living people that are still out there.
Okay. Yuki basically calls and says, you have to understand we are defending ourselves. However, we have come to give you another chance. Those who want to be saved, speak up now.
Make an influence skill check for me.
Oh, that's good, but pretty good. 16. Dirty 16.
There is a bit of quiet, but you do hear one voice calling back out to you and says, "Then what? What would you do with us?"
Well, you're not really in a place to choose what happens with you, but at the very least you'll be alive.
There's some more silence. Zill, we go back to you as you are making your way underneath the water. It takes a little bit of time for your eyes to adjust, but you can see kind of vaguely shapes moving underneath the water. I'm going to have you make a wisdom skill check, and it's going to be at despair.
Wisdom 8.
It seems to be all matter of sea life. You see what look to be like large bonito that are swimming past you, and some kind of schools of fish as well. They seem to be crowding around a specific area, and then all of a sudden you feel something. You feel something on your back. It seems to be pushing you in a different direction than what you would where you were originally going. You try to swim. You look around, but you can't see what is up on your back. But it seems to be pushing you in a different direction, away from the fish.
I'm not a strong swimmer, so I'm going with it.
Okay. You get
Also
drawn away, and you hear...
Proactively, can I like I'm not holding my axe. Like I strapped it very tightly around my back.
Okay.
Okay, just
Perfect.
so I have both arms.
Perfect. And as you go with it, you hear a soft whisper in your ear that says, "Not that way. Stay quiet. They can sense you." As you are being basically shuttled along by Princess Mila, grabbing your shoulders and moving you kind of around the bits of the wreckage. And up top, you see back to Yuki. And they say, "And you can guarantee our survival. You won't kill us the second we..." And that's it. That's all you hear. It's suddenly cut off.
Well, Yuki will fly towards the direction, seeing that that's strange and strange. She's gonna maintain a height, but
Okay.
she's gonna fly towards the voices.
Okay. You're in the general area of where the voices are, and you're probably about 15 to 20 feet above the water. It's complete darkness. Like I said, it is pitch black the middle of the night. You can't see anything until Alamnia's breath catches up.
Okay. She's gonna fly back to Alamnia's breath, kind of keeping in her mind a general area. If she has any landmarks that she can kind of pick out, like floating debris, just so she knows.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna quickly fly back to Alamnia's breath.
Okay. You eventually, probably after a couple minutes, do land on board. You're not too far out from the wreckage at this point.
Yeah.
Zil and Princess Mila have already gone overboard.
Okay. She explains the situation and says that there were a few that were alive and things seemed to be going well, and then there was silence, an eerie silence of sorts. I think something might be in the water. What do we want to do? I think they're dead. Personally.
Thordane responds and says, "Did you find any communication with them, though?"
And then it went completely silent, and they were gone. I saw nothing. It was just darkness.
Do we have any lamps or?
Yeah, the basically the
Torches?
ship is lit, and that's how like
Okay.
how you revealed yourself to the pirates is like you had like all the lanterns all over the ship lit, and so it like does give you a soft glow of the things that are in your general direction, but you're still probably a couple minutes of sailing out from the actual wreckage.
Yuki says, I think we should slow down at the very least, slow the pace, and I should go out there with a lantern and see if I can see anything before we make anything rash. I hate to go right directly into an Azale-Dune type creature, if it is something dubious under the waves. So,
as this is happening, we jump back down to Zil. As you're being guided around by Princess Mila, it is, like I said, I mentioned it is dark and you can't see much, but the fish keep moving past you in the original direction that you were going in. And Princess Mila says, "It's best that we avoid this. I've seen this once or twice in my life." But she says, "I do think that there's not much hope left for any survivors that are out here. This is a feeding frenzy." And as she says that, you see that there are there's basically like a severed leg that begins to basically swim its way past you. Unless they were able to get out of the water and floating on something, I don't think there are many pirates that are left alive here.
Oh, how would you mime ship?
Make a charisma survival check.
I have no charisma. Hey, 15.
15.
Okay.
You hear, "I agree. We should go back."
Impressive, Zil. Nice.
Return back breath. That was
And
what I was going for.
As you turn back, you see that there is a small light on the surface, this a light that you swim back towards the of your ship. You do not see any sea creatures that are currently following you by the time you get back to the ship, which leaves Yuki back with a lantern going out above the wreckage as you continue flying looking for anybody. And as you have this lantern, you can see that there is carnage that is in this area. You don't know if it's necessarily the blood from the people from the ship, but you can actually see body parts floating. And as you get closer, there is one person that's going, "Help! Help!" And as you look, you see that there's someone holding on to like a piece of driftwood, and that's like reaching out. They sound either terrified or barely able to speak of what's going on.
Yeah, Yuki doesn't ask questions and just kind of swoops down and like with one arm kind of goes under the armpit and around the chest and under the other armpit and just flies back. She doesn't bother looking for
Make
anything.
a physical skill check for me.
$21.
21. As you begin to pull out, you feel a bit of resistance before you are able to get like a decent grip as you carry this person to the boat. The boat is basically nearly there, and so probably 30 seconds before you're out on deck. And as you land, you deposit the person, and you can hear him weeping. But he's not just normally weeping. He is missing his lower half. Please help! He calls out.
Yeah, Yuki or flies down. I guess she's still flying as she does it down into the thing to get Luxalia.
Her door is closed, and you hear no voices coming from inside. And the door is
and
locked.
Yuki calls. We need a healer immediately.
What about Lyra? Go find Lyra.
I guess Lyra's there too. I mean, where is she? Was she on deck?
Oh yeah, most likely on deck. Lyra's probably gone over to this guy's side and is trying to look to see if there's anything that she can do. But you go down to find Luxalia, and she says, "Do you need healing, Yuki?"
Nope. Half missing body needs healing from the water.
Wait, what? As you hear it, you hear the door rustling and it unclicks as like she looks out and she's like, Who are you talking about?"
Yeah, Yuki picks her up and just like a football player runs her up onto the deck.
What is going on? Let go of me! As you take her up to the deck, and you see that there is a few people gathered around in a small crowd, and there is a very quickly fading body of one of the pirates that are on deck, and he is basically like reaching like up as if like trying to like grab something, as Lyra is literally doing all that she could. She's taken off her own cloak and like tried to like wrap it around like the waist is like a tourniquet, but you can see that there are like kind of like organs and stuff that are like hanging out the bottom of him, and it's a gruesome sight to see. Luxalia, she looks at it and she says, "You understand I'm a healer, but I don't know if there's much that I can do about this." I'm going to have Yuki, Belbin, and Thordane and Luxalia all make faith survival checks for me.
10.
14.
11 for Thordane. And 14 for Yuki.
You'll all take 1 point of misery as you see this individual begin to bleed out, and his arm eventually slumps down, and he is definitely no longer alive. His eyes glaze over. She looks back. Luxalia looks to all of you, and she says, "We should have gone back sooner." She stands up and she storms back downstairs and puts herself back.
Yuki grabs her by the arm before she goes back and grabs her by the arm and kind of puts her about face and says, "In a time like this, Luxalia, We don't need any of your holier than thou crap.
Oh.
Make an influence skill check for me.
$15.
She stops and she turns about face and like looks at you and she says, I'm sorry. I just don't know how to communicate this stuff to you all. I wish you could understand that I took vows to protect life. Not take it. Do you remember when we were back at Port Grandium and we were down in the battle pits? Do you think it was easy for me to let those elves literally gut me to death because I refused to fight them? This is something that is greater than me. Yet, I accepted my fate then. And she shakes her head and she says, but Alomnia spared me for this moment, and I vowed that I would continue to protect life. I understand that I can't control you or what the rest of the crew does, but I need you to understand where I am coming from. I can't fly like you. I can't go and pick people up. And she thinks long and hard about it, and she says, but I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you. I'm gonna have Max. Actually, you make a faith survival check for Luxalia for me.
14.
Okay.
She
Yuki
gains 2
wants
points of
to
misery.
respond. Okay.
Oof.
Yuki wants to respond and says, Luxalia, you're the one who always says that that we're in it together. Yes, we're all different people and we're all in different parts of life. However, we have been charged by Alomnia with this burden. And we need you. You can't just suddenly go all pacifist on us when we're in situations where we need you. Luxalia, you have to understand you're an important part of this party, and yes, I'm doing my best to try to overcome and get to know Alomnia better, but I also understand that Alomnia has provided us an opportunity to help humanity. As you can see, we went back, Luxalia. Your words weren't all for naught. In fact, it wasn't me who turned back. And Yuki points to Belbin. It was Belbin who turned back.
There's some silence.
Luxalia.
As Luxalia kind of like turns back to like the wheel where Belbin is currently there with Balthazar. And she says, what? Quietly.
And Yuki, not as much of like an aggravated voice, kind of goes down a little bit and she says, Luxalia, I know it seems like we don't understand you, but we don't know anything about you. All we know about you is the small little remarks you've made on the side, every now and then alluding to your past, but we know nothing about you. We're doing our best to understand you and where you're coming from. You've never mentioned anything about this vow that you've taken. You have to be honest with us if you're going to be here on this, in our party. And it's obviously your piety is working. I don't know what it was in Belbin's soul that made him turn this boat around, but I can tell you at the very least in me, by you being here in this crew, it really has made me reflect on life. But I also understand, and she pulls out her 2 swords and she looks at her 2 swords. I have to use what I'm good at as well for Alomnia's plan in my life. I don't have the manic arts that you do. I don't have the healing ability that you do. I only have my own strengths, as you had said. And these strengths are meant to not only protect me, but those around me. You have to understand, Luxalia. It's not just you and your decisions alone. It's the crew's decisions, the party's decisions, and all of us come from different places. And she starts like crying at this point.
Make a charm skill check
Out
for
of
me.
out of the side of her, out of her eyes, not like sobbing, but like tears start pouring from her eyes, and that's a 15. And she says, "Look, Solly, we're all trying here. We understand your frustration, but you can't shut yourself off. You have to be patient with us, Luxalia. We're all in different places. And those pirates back there, I saw what you saw, a stirring in their hearts, but yet at the same time they made that decision.
She
There's only
stares
so
kind
much
of,
we can do."
She stares blankly at you, but you can see that there is a tear that falls from her face too, and she says, "Maybe that's just it. I don't have the words to express my own experiences to people. If I had a silver tongue like you, Yuki, who knows? Maybe I would have been able to convince them against their evil ways. The only gifts that I have are that of healing and of my own experience. But..." She looks at the dead body. "I understand when evil has taken somebody's heart. And I saw that the way they looked at us, they did not understand us. Sure, maybe there was a stirring in some of them, but they looked at us like they owned us, like we were their victims. I hated it. I grew so angry. But I'm sorry. I'm just more upset with myself than I am with any of you."
And you know what, Luxalia, I'm sorry as well. And if we've learned anything from this experience, we still have a lot of growing to do, but one thing I do ask moving forward, you say I have a silver tongue. But it all just starts with being honest with myself. I know your intentions are honest and your intentions are pure, but you need to share that as well. You know that none of us will judge you. Heck, again, pointing back at Belbin, we know all of the horrible things he's done, yet he's still our friend. There's nothing you could tell us that, well, the stuff that we do, stuff that we do know.
Kelvin scoffs to himself. Not everything.
But there's nothing that you could do that will make us think different of you, Luxalia. We love you. And we all can grow and learn a lot from you, but you can also grow and learn a lot from us as well. Just know that we value what you say, and we think long and hard about the things that you say. It takes us longer, so please be patient with us to understand.
I know.
That's what she said.
I know. It's unfair that I put such lofty expectations on you, but I can't help to do it because I put such lofty expectations on myself that I often fail. I have to understand that we all come from different places. I don't know. I guess I just have a lot to think about. I have to work on myself. Thank you.
Has the ship made it?
Yeah, shift's definitely there at this point, and you're kind of like sailing through the wreckage. Luxalia, she looks to you and she says, "And I love you too, all of you. It would kill me to see any of you die. I will do what I can to be able to protect you, so that does not happen. I want you to rely on me, like I can rely on you." She turns around and begins to walk down the stairs, and she looks up to Belbin and she says, "Thank you," before she disappears down below.
Yuki at this point is wiping her eyes and kind of looks around and says, "Where's Zill? Why is his armor off? Is he
Yeah, his armor's just
The
like
real
chilling on the deck.
question.
Wait, did he disappear?
Never had heard him be so stealthy before. Belbin's just gonna be looking over the edge. What does
Make-
Belbin see?
Make a wisdom skill check for me.
Alrighty. Ooh, nat 16.
You
for
see a
18.
lot. You see a lot of the carnage that Yuki had previously seen. However, you do see that unconscious on a basically a large crate is somebody. They are not chopped in half. It looks to be one of the first mates of the second ship. It is a female, and she seems to be passed out, unconscious of exhaustion, or no longer alive. But she is the only like intact body that you do see.
Yuki, are you still flying?
Oh, yes, Bell. Well, I can fly. If you need
Oh.
me to fly, I can fly.
Yeah, do you want to fly down here? There's a crate down there with a person on it.
And Yuki flies down.
You do see,
the crate with
and
the person on it.
you grab this individual, and you feel definitely the full weight of the person, unlike the before. And you pick them up, and
Yeah.
you take them back to the ship. You lay this individual down, and you can see that they are not breathing.
Is
However,
Lyra still around?
Lyra is there. She makes her way over, and she is actually going to make a check here.
And Yuki's telling her, "I heard you gotta play a song, staying alive, when you're giving CPR."
Lyra
At
says,
first, I was afraid. I was petrified.
Lyra says, "No, it has to be a more steady beat, more like doo, 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 doo. Stay alive, stay alive." Particle Bill starts dancing. I didn't know we'd get some entertainment. As he just starts doing his jig. No, Lyra, she gives CPR to this individual, and eventually, after some time, she coughs out a bunch of water, and she opens her eyes, looking at the group of you. And that is where we're going to end our session for today.
Oh my gosh. Zill is in the ocean with the princess.
Looking at the chummy water.
Oh.
Let's go ahead and talk about our thoughts on today's session, and then we can go ahead and bring this down to a close. Let's go ahead and start with you, Max.
Finally got off the ship. That was nice. Yeah, it's always hard because it's like, okay, I know what I would like to see happen, and like second chances, and yeah, giving people the benefit of the doubt and the chance for redemption. But that's not always what Zill wants. And yeah, he's definitely like, okay, he's becoming more and more open to it because of Luxalia and some of the other things we've seen. But that's still not his go-to. But also just like his love of everyone else. When Belbin turned the ship around, it's like, okay, we're doing this. Like that's all he needed to know is we're doing this. So he jumped in. Yeah, it's a very interesting conundrum that we are oft facing in this party, which is never any easier. And it's like, okay, combat is going to be a real part of the game, and it'd be wrong to think we can always talk and convince our way out of it. It's like, how do we balance, like, okay, we can't feel guilty every time we fight and even kill someone. But, like, we're oft pushed that way. whether it be from you, from Luxalia, from a different source. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thought from like other like D&D campaigns that I've done, where it's just like, oh, the bandits are bandits, just kill them. I remember actually very vividly, like when you guys had first gotten to Aishan Island and you were chasing Duluth into the forest, and literally you guys just went insane and like murdered all of the Duluth bandits. And Luxalia was like kind of on board with it at the time, because remember, like she went out there to like try to like have a communication with them, and they were all being like, ooh, like we got a lady like amongst us, and she was like, heck no. She went and it was just like, get him. And like you guys just went and just like tore him apart. It's definitely like a very distinct difference from like that time and like kind of like where she's at now. Which, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know everything that's going into like Cole's mind and Cole's brain. And so like when I'm like playing Luxalia, I have to be able to like respect like what is going on, but also still have kind of like the like know how to be able to like make decisions for Luxalia that I think would fit Luxalia's character. And so it's kind of it's a precarious situation of like how to play Luxalia like when she's gone, especially when she gives like the direct orders like don't kill anyone, just like save people. So it's like I don't exactly know like what's going through Cole's mind when stuff like that is happening. I can only play it as much as I want. And so like, but it does often lead to like good conversations like this, because I don't know why, but I feel like if like Cole was here, like I think like he would actively be upset, where I don't really have like the attachments to like Luxalia's like desires to, or like Cole's desires like for Luxalia to like feel like guilty or like upset about the things that happen, because I know like oftentimes when like Cole doesn't get his way, he doesn't like it. So it's interesting to like play it from that perspective, and that's why like I try to be like as stubborn as possible from it. But like again, that's why what's great about like those like influence checks, those like charm checks, or like maybe Cole like deep down, like I don't know if he would respond to those, and I don't think it's necessarily appropriate like when players are speaking with each other to like make like charisma based checks, but like when like NPCs or like things, people that are controlled by me have like conversational checks, like it's very much appropriate for like that stuff to happen, which is why it's just like you had a couple pretty good checks, Yuki, which kind of mellowed her out. So hopefully when Cole sees this, like he can kind of understand where that's coming from, and hopefully he can continue to play it that way, because that's when you're not here, that's just what happened. That's part of what happens with your character, is some things are just kind of out of your control. And so hopefully that's the case. That's all I'm saying. So sorry.
Seemed very Luxalia to me is all. So
I
think
tried.
you did a good job.
But Max, anything else that you had to add to that?
No.
Dane, your thoughts.
I want to hear Connor's first.
Connor, your thoughts.
Okay. First off, battle was always fun. I like Belvin kind of lives for the battles. I kind of do too. But I would say it's fun trying out the kind of new things, like the new battle styles, and just seeing how those work. Yeah, going back to the ship, I guess that'd probably be the next thing. I don't know if Belvin's as heroic as you guys probably think he is. From from his point of view, and this would be totally above game, it was if we're waffling back and forth on whether we're going to save these guys or not, but we're still heading the direction away from them, we'll at least have to turn the ship around. Like, we can delay the decision of whether we save them or not for another 15 minutes while we sail back to them. And the worst thing would be, like, we're 30 minutes later or whatever to our destination that we're getting to in the middle of the night anyway. But I guess it probably did come off as
It's a practical decision. Everyone's just like,
very
whoa.
practical. Yeah.
Belvin.
Didn't mean for it to have the, like, we're doing this, you know? But, yeah, that's, I guess, if nothing else, maybe we save that one person. Very interesting though, of like when Yuki and Musali were talking, Kyle, on your face, I could just feel like the emotion, like I don't want to say like hatred because that's the wrong word, but like there's definitely some like real emotion, at least that I was feeling from it. So I was like, whoa, this is getting spicy. But no, it was a really interesting session. Like,
yeah, I had to play it based off of how Yuki was playing it, because Yuki got real
Right.
serious all of a sudden. I'm like, all right, I'm game. Let's do this. Anyways,
I don't know. It seemed like it was like the kind of session with everything. Like in the battle, it wasn't like just a give me. Whereas like at one point, Zill may not have been able to escape. Like we were kind of surrounded. There were guys coming onto our ship. Like there's that aspect of it, but then there was also afterwards just a good like conversation, decision making stuff that I think made it interesting for a completely different reason.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, and that especially when it comes to like balancing combat encounters, like clearly when it comes to like normal pirates and that kind of stuff, like the only real chance they have is if they can like literally surround you. But as we saw in the case of Zill, like literally they have to land crits in order to actually hit him. He's just at that point where he's just thick like that. But you gotta like sprinkle like a little bit of like tactics in there, and like especially you have like the like moving ships and stuff, and like how that like kind of interaction happens. So you have like certain things, if you want to do it, like you're literally on a timer. And the way that things work out and the rules happen, it just makes it like very exciting for me, because like you said, it could be like kind of like a very like one-dimensional type of like combat where it's just like you just throw yourself into it and just like fight waves of guys, and because you're stronger you're going to maybe lose some HP, but not necessarily the case. But like not only do you have like other like NPCs that are like part of your crew that like you may have grown a little bit of attachments to, that are like not nearly the combat prowess of you, but like they help to kind of like peel off some of the enemies and whatnot. But yeah, it's really interesting kind of seeing like how that works. And man, all of the freaking pirates trying to board the ship that just fell into the water. Like I think of like all of those, like it was like of the 4 or 5 people that fell in when I was originally trying to board, one of them got a 1, 3 of them got a 2, and then one of them got a 6. And so they were like really low rolls that they were just like plopping one by one into the water. And I was like, dang, like this could have been great, like having like the entire like ship board Alomnia's breath to see kind of what was
Although
happening.
I will say, you rolled a lot of max damage or near max damage for,
even
like,
without
when you did
the
hit.
even without the nat 16s. I did roll a bunch of nat 16s, but it was freaking feast or famine. Like I was rolling nothing in between. But I feel like I definitely like out-rolled like the higher rolls than, yeah, for sure. So maybe the nice thing is maybe that put a little bit more pressure on you guys, whether it's taking the 1 giant hit from Yuki or the 6 hits that we took from Zill, but like taking like almost half of his hit points worth of HP. Whatever the case. I think Belman, did you get hit at all? Once?
Yeah, I took about 20 damage, something like that. It wasn't too crazy. There was 1 big hit and then I think 1 small hit, something
I think
like that.
everyone got damaged except for maybe Luxalia.
Luxalia got damaged.
Oh, everybody got damaged then. I did a good job. That was the goal. But yeah, no, it's really fun kind of going into these combats, and hopefully as you guys kind of settle into your characters and what to do, like I really enjoyed how like you were trying out kind of some of your new stuff. And kind of like the mechanics and everything, and hopefully especially for like physical DPS, I wanted to feel, because a lot of your stuff focuses a lot on kind of like your weapons, but instead of just going out there and just like basic like sword attack, punch, like it actually like gives you like some strategy and like how to use your abilities outside of just like feeling powerful with just the attacks that you have. So hopefully like the combos and stuff like keep it interesting for you, because that's kind of the point, is like you do a lot of damage, but I want you to actually feel like successful if you like hit a combo and like doing things like that, and like having different tools to like have strategy. We're definitely like Zill played like his character like how Zill should be, is just like throwing himself into like combat taking attacks, and then also on top of that, like having the ability to deal some damage here and there, and especially with your added mobility Zill of like the cape, like that's also something that's like very unique that you can have. You can put yourself into like situations that maybe like kind of some slower tank characters wouldn't be able to do, which is nice. It's just like you said, it's more of a matter of like whether you can like roll high in the priority initiative for the combat round to do what you want to do in the movement phase. So yeah, definitely, for sure. Anything else, Connor?
Yeah, one last thing. Belbin's reaction to Luxalia's little speech. He's skeptical, but he's gonna be like, okay, you're saying all this, but like I've seen you kill just as many people as I have, like in battle. So I don't know. I think he's naturally skeptical, but there would need to be some sort of conversation or explanation for him to kind of, I don't know. He wasn't super moved by it because he's just naturally skeptic.
That's good. I mean, it's interesting to see how that happens, and I think that's definitely a good conversation. Like when Cole is here playing Luxalia, to be able to have with Luxalia, because I can kind of do what I can, but again, there's a lot of stuff that I don't want to spoil. Like that's part of like his character that to go in that I think like that's kind of like his responsibility to do that. So I'm really trying to do with when you guys are gone. I'm really trying to play your characters as much as they would, with still allowing for room for growth in your characters. I don't want to change your characters for you because I know you guys have like decisions and stuff that you want to make, and like the way that you want your characters to grow. I don't want to take that out of your hands, but it's also a good incentive to be here. if you don't want people doing stuff with your character, make sure you're here. Because I can only do so much. But cool. Dane, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, just kind of everything. I liked using the new skills in battle, like the flame blade is really cool. I actually think I do more damage now, which is good. And I felt like I did a lot of damage in the first place. So the fact that I could do that, and by the way, that Gildan flame blade, it's basically like a link spin, so it hits everyone in the general vicinity. So it's pretty cool. And I can combo into it every turn if I wanted to. But there's benefits to using the other ones too. But I really enjoyed battle. I thought it was fun. Going back to last session, I also used some of my like using my bow, which I hadn't been using my bow in quite some time, but I think Sea Combat's a good opportunity to do that. And the only thing I didn't use, which would have been cool, but I'll use it in the future, is I actually have a bunch of like manic skills, kind of like how Belbin used during that one turn when he got zipped back to the ship with Zill. I have some manic skills that I can use now that are part of my Bard class. That could be very interesting, and they're ranged as well. So and it uses charisma modifier stuff. So I'm curious to see when I do actually get to use those how much I will, or if I'll stick to the swords. But I don't know. I really liked battle. I thought it was really fun. I thought there were moments for sure where I was like, oh boy, this could be worse than I initially thought it was going to be. So I think it was difficulty wise good. And it only really because of the numbers, the sheer amount of numbers, and just trying to protect everyone on the ship. Like when Barnacle Bill went down to 5 HP and Sariel went down to however little she went down to, it's like, ooh boy, we need to do something to get these.
Yeah, I think Sariel got down to 6 HP. Barnacle Bill got down to 5. Definitely those.
It's humbling though. It's humbling because we can't really throw. Now we've had a real open sea combat on the open seas. I think it gives us more perspective now when we actually do confront Jackman Knobs about the frailty of our crew. They are very useful, but also it kind of puts into perspective they cannot take as much damage as we can, and we just need to be a little bit more careful, I think, going through moving forward. But yeah, that was combat. As everyone had said, I won't add too much more to the other encounters. The one thing I will say about the encounter with Belbin and Luxalia and Yuki, you say that's not how Belbin sees it, but I think that plays really well in the ultimate story about how maybe Luxalia sees a slight change of heart, even if there wasn't necessarily a change of heart there. I think there's growth that comes from that. Even in misunderstandings, I think a lot of growth can happen. with characters. So even if that wasn't
Even
necessarily Belbin's
Alamnia
intention-
noted it. You lost points of misery for it.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. It's true.
So that's the thing. It's one of those things where it's like maybe Luxalia, who may be a little bit stubborn, sees that, and actually everyone was like, "What, Belbin?" And I think it really kind of gave everyone a kick in the pants. It's like, okay, we're doing this, and we're gonna actually go and save some lives, hopefully, which we hopefully saved one. But even if that wasn't Belbin's intention, a good intention came from it for making that decision. So I think that's great. And as far as like the interaction with Luxalia from Yuki, I think what was really going through Yuki's mind at the moment, again above game, is everyone's doing their best to try to fulfill the role as best as they can. And even we had turned around at this point, and we had ultimately listened to Luxalia in a certain way, yet at the same time it wasn't good enough. We didn't do it quick enough, you know, and it's like we can only do so much, and that's why you need to be patient with us, because at the same time it's like we do listen to what you say, Luxalia. We are trying to be good people and live by Alamnia's will, but at the same time, what was frustrating for Yuki and why she got so emotional about it is we did what she wanted, but it wasn't good enough. Ultimately, it wasn't good enough in the end for what she wanted. And so that's what was frustrating, because it's like you do it and it ends up turning bad. And if we didn't go back, if we just continued on, she'd be mad either way. And so for Yuki, it felt very unfair with how Luxalia was acting. But I think it was a productive conversation as well, because again, it really kind of puts into perspective, we all have the different place where we come from. We all have our different strengths, and we all fit those different strengths and niches in the party, yet by using all of those together, ultimately we're doing our best to fulfill Alamnia's will in whatever way that is, right? And I think it's important to really understand from each character's perspective, each of our strengths really does fulfill that. And we can't just be hyper focusing on our one strength or our one weakness that we have specifically as a character. We have to rely on each other, and we have to grow as a character, or we have to grow as people, because again, we're not perfect. We're living creatures in the world of Everlast. We will be sinning constantly, but what we can do and what we can be sure to do is try to fulfill Alamnia's will in the best way that we can. And I think that's something that's really important to bring up, especially with Yuki as a character who's really trying to find that now. As a character, she's really trying to grow as a character and really trying to seek Alamnia, and she's doing it in the best way she knows possible. And yet she's learning from her party mates, but it's frustrating to her when it seems like what we're doing as a crew just isn't enough. And ultimately, it may not be enough in the end. But that's why we have to continue to get better as characters and get better as people, just ultimately in real life. Like I don't look at it as just like these are characters in a fantasy world. I try to take these lessons into my everyday life too. It's like you can't control every little thing that happens, and you can't be living. And one thing I will say, I know where Luxalia is really struggling with as a character is like she could have done more. But I also feel like that's falling into a vice as well. That's falling into, well, ultimately in the real world, Satan's trap. It's like when you commit sin. It's like when you dwell on the sin and you get overpowered by the sin. That's the wonderful thing about the sacrament of confession, is the fact that you can go and you can ask for that forgiveness. And it's Satan who rubs your face in the sin. It's like, you're not worthy of it. You're not worthy of forgiveness. You're not worthy of growing from this. And you're just going to keep sinning as a sinner. And yes, we will keep sinning as a sinner, but we got to have that hope in God's grace. And that's, I think, something that Luxalia as a character struggles with. And I think the vast majority of the people out there in the world outside of Everlast struggle with too. So I think it's really good bringing that to the forefront too. Again, this isn't just a game to have fun in a fantasy world, but it also hopefully provides lessons that you can carry into your daily life as well. So.
And I also
Those are
too
my
want to
thoughts.
note too that this also is a fantasy game as well. Like obviously, like if everybody was being pacifists and doing stuff, what would be the point of having like classes and leveling up? Like there's going to be evil that you're going to fight, whether it's a person or not, that you're going to have to actually like do your stuff. Like for example, when you were fighting Thavalia back at Golden Rock, and she was possessed by a demon. Like, you still had to fight her. Like, that's like your job as like an adventurer, as like a chosen by like the Alamnia and by the Serac, is like they gave you these powers, like this, like for Alamnia's good, for Alamnia's will, to fight against evil. Like, that's the point, is to fight against evil, where if you just like refuse to fight, then you're not actually doing Alamnia's will. And so there's like kind of that juxtaposition too. It's like God, Alamnia has put you to this position, giving you these skills, giving you these talents, and in the case of Luxalia, he's given her all kinds of healing stuff, but he's also given her like the ability to like actually damage, as we had mentioned earlier, where it's just like, oh, it was like the faith of Alamnia that destroyed that one arbalist that like shot him, and then he just like died by the shield breaking. It's like, oh man, Luxalia didn't want to kill anybody, but it's like, well, by protecting her crew, like Alamnia smoked that guy where he stood. And so it's just like, sometimes, you know, like that's also part of it. It's like, not necessarily that you need to be merciless and you need to be ruthless, but there's also a difference between mercy and using like the gifts that you are given in the way that he wants you to use them. And by like not using them, you're refusing God's gift, and by refusing to use them, you're refusing like Alamnia's will for you. And so there's kind of like also that like extra part of it's like a balance between like mercy and like ungratefulness, like ungratitude, if that makes sense. I don't know. Lots of deep thinking.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. I think what the last thing I will say before we do end, because I know that we're running over a little bit, but the last thing I will say about it is, even we see it in the most pious of people out there. There is no perfect person out there. There is no like perfection, because the only two people who ever lived that had perfection were Mary and Jesus, right? And that is that's the reality of things. We all strive for it, of course, but we're gonna fall and we're gonna fail. And even in Luxalia, her holiness and her piety, she struggles with things. Even in Belbin, his unpiety and stuff, he's still struggling, and there's something working in his heart, right?
Yeah.
There's something working in his
maybe. TBD.
And even Zill, like I think Zill is that perfect kind of middle ground where he has nothing, like it's completely brand new to him, and he's really having to deal with those situations as they come as well. There's something working in his heart, what decisions he wants to make. I think it's wonderful, and I think we see it all. Like we have a wide cast that I think fits a bunch of different aspects and a bunch of different people out there. So I think that's great. We're covering it all.
Not everybody's for justice. That's good. Makes it interesting. And it also allows conversations like what happened today to happen. Because if everybody's always aligned on everything, it just gets boring. Then it's just like there's no conversation that needs to happen. But that's also not realistic too. And so it's good to kind of add your personality in as like a person into your character, but it's also like good to understand that you're not stuck in specific rules, that like maybe you built your character in this way and that you're not stuck in that. So definitely things to think about. But I think that's going to conclude it for today. Dane, do you have any announcements before we do finish up?
Yeah, quick announcements. Kyle will be streaming on Sunday or Monday his time. So no Cold Forge Great Axe this week. Instead, Kyle will be finishing up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the remake. So come join him for that. That should be a great time. Again, join us on Monday, Western time, Tuesday, Eastern time. Again, all of these will be put in the Discord as far as times go. So go join our Discord and take a look at these times. But we are doing a series about the Everlast TCG. If you like the tabletop RPG, there is a TCG that has come out that was successfully funded on Kickstarter, which is awesome. But we're going through and we're basically doing a deep dive into every one of the elements, and so every week we're gonna be doing that. So this weekend we'll be getting up the Frost element cards, and then we will be on Monday talking about the Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Earth
correct?
element.
Earth element. So come join us for that, especially for Heroes of the West and Raising a Helix, the two sets that we have. So we can go do a little bit of a deep dive. And if you're confused about the game, we also have videos on our YouTube channel about how to read a card anatomy and how to play. And so that way you can kind of get a general idea if you want to go back and watch those videos too. But yeah, everything's on track for everyone who backed the Kickstarter. We still are set for early to mid-July for getting your orders out to you. That should be good. As far as the rest of the streams, it's a pretty normal week. So after that, Kyle will be streaming on Tuesday, Wednesday. Most likely he will finish Final Fantasy VII. He'll be moving on to The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, the new Legend of Zelda game that came out this past year. So come join him for that. That should be a good time. And no AME and no Everlast the next week, and Kyle will be continuing. Kyle, you're going to be streaming a lot next week. As it seems to be at this point.
It's like 4 days a
and
week,
then Thursday,
5 days sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy. But then Kyle will be back with Echoes of Wisdom on Thursday. We have a sponsor, Dice Snacky. They're Japanese sweets and luxury treats company based in Tokyo, Japan. If you do decide to buy from them, it's free international shipping, and make sure to mention that Forge sent you. If you mention that Forge sent you, that's how we get the referral for that, and that's how we get paid for that advertisement from them. And then also make sure to mention your Twitch username, because once we hit a referral limit, we give away a free box for free, and you get more raffle tickets for that. So feel free to do that. We also have free international shipping, which is pretty cool. We also have Coffee of the Realm and Fragrances of the Realm. There are Everlast themed coffee and candles. So if you want delicious smelling house and a delicious tasting cup of coffee, feel free to check those out. They have official Everlast artwork on them, and all proceeds go towards the creation of the artwork of Everlast. It's not cheap. We have an amazing artist who does amazing work, and her work is not cheap. So by purchasing not only delicious coffee and delicious smelling candles, you also help us bring down those costs for producing the amazing artwork that is the artwork of Everlast. So aside from that, I can't think of anything else, Kyle. I think we're good.
No, we're chilling. I'm very excited to be able to continue on, see what happens in this campaign, which actually begs the question. Our next session will be the 6/7th of June already. And so we're going to be doing that, and then that will actually be our last Everlast
Wouldn't
session.
it be the 13th?
Yep, that's what I meant. The 13th and 14th, which will be our last Everlast session before I actually make my way back to Colorado, meaning on the 27th, 28th, we will be having a live in-person of June. We'll be having a live in-person Everlast with the majority of us, excluding Cole, unfortunately. He'll be still in Florida, but I'll be there, and it's gonna be I think a big stream. So look forward to it. It's gonna be a party. So and then I believe that's gonna be it for the month of June, and then we're gonna just be continuing on into the summer as far as Everlast go. But yeah, there's lots coming up, lots of excitement. So
You know what? You want to hear something exciting, Kyle?
let's hear it.
You will have 2 Everlast sessions where you will be here, because the 11th of July you'll still be here. So we'll have 2 in-person sessions with everyone. Isn't that exciting?
Sweet.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Fly Cole in.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, right.
Cool. Make it
Oh
for
my
at least
gosh.
one of them. Man, that'd be crazy. I remember when we first started, and like Dane, you were the one who was like away, and like having everybody out at the table. It's a good time. It was fun. But yeah, I think that's gonna probably do it for that. Make sure to check out our Discord and everything, and let's go ahead and close in prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. O Jesus, my Savior and Redeemer, Son of the living God, behold, we kneel before you and offer you our reparation. We would make amends for all the blasphemies uttered against your holy name, for all the injuries done to you in the Blessed Sacrament, for all the irreverence shown towards your Immaculate Virgin Mother, for all the slanders spoken against your spouse, the Holy Catholic Church. O Jesus, who has said, if you ask the Father anything in my name, he will give it to you. We pray and beseech you for all our brethren who are in danger of sin. Shield them from every temptation to fall away from the true faith. Save those who are even now standing on the brink of the abyss. To all of them, give light and knowledge of the truth, courage and strength for the conflict with evil, perseverance in faith and active charity. For this do we pray, most merciful Jesus, in your name, unto God the Father, with whom you live and reign in the unity of the Holy Spirit, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you all. I'm praying for you. Make sure you pray for me and pray for each other. I will see you all on Monday for the conclusion of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. May Alumnia guide you, and have an amazing weekend, everybody. Bye.